go.
I am hearable, right?
Yeah, you are.
And now we
Okay, good, great.
And we are live! God damn, this I feel like the notification thing's getting faster and faster every single time.
Let's hope so.
Yeah.
Okay then. Well, the notification appeared on my phone. It hasn't quite appeared on my computer yet. That's a problem. There it is.
Yeah, it's on my feed.
Yeah, down in my feed.
I can hear myself.
Alrighty then. So, ladies and gentlemen, I actually haven't had a chance to say this yet to Skybolt. Happy anniversary, buddy!
Yeah, I know. 1 year later.
So yes, today, everyone, it's our fucking birthday today.
Yeah, you guys better have brought us a present.
Oh, god damn.
1 year since we essentially pulled the Don Bluth and took half the studio with us.
I mean, we really did, though. Although, much like Don Bluth, once we took half the studio with us, the project they were working on died.
Yes.
Because, you know, I think we don't. Because I think we need even more waking, sleeping beauty jokes about us leaving Stapletech. You know,
I mean, it's such like all the parallels are there. I remember when I first saw that back in like 2014. I'm like, this kind of seems vaguely familiar. God. Oh God. Yeah, it's a little familiar, although the only parallel that won't be there is the part where Stapletech rises from the ashes, makes Beauty and the Beast, and becomes the most powerful media product in the world. They don't have Disney money. Although I did get another random email from someone saying, oh, we're going to use the assets and maybe try it. And it's like, you know, I haven't responded yet, but it's like, best of luck, buddy. I don't know. I think it's cursed, to be honest. If anyone tries it, they just cavitates.
I've regularly seen people try to take up the mantle. There are people in the comment section for the shut. Some of the comments in the Stapletech shutdown video still blow me away to this day.
Oh, I haven't checked them in a while. What did they say?
So my personal favorite one is someone who commented with saying. So you didn't know everyone's schedules, and that was the problem. So just sync up your schedules, and you can get the project back on track again.
My God.
That is what he thought happened.
That was his takeaway? Oh my God.
Was a scheduling issue.
You think if between the three videos you could start getting an idea of what actually happened? Not to mention like pretty much every podcast on this channel since the beginning that we've bitched about it.
Right. Well, this is what I really need to get my acting gear. I think once I finish the year, and we move into December, I need to finish editing together the first part of The Great Experiment.
I was going to say, I'm waiting for you to send me your chunk of the audio, and then I can record my stuff around it, and we can get working on that.
Yeah, no, I've been busy messing with that. So. Yeah, goddamn. It's kind of funny because I think it was... Fuck, I was going to upload... there was this old Stapletech video I wanted to upload this week. Maybe I'll upload it tomorrow. It was essentially the 100% Salt podcast.
Oh, yeah.
We did that last Fallout Day. That was October 23rd, 2016. And it's significant to us because over the course of the podcast, Skybolt, Kelly, and I are just getting so frustrated that normally we don't talk about we didn't talk about the status of the project.
Yeah,
we tried to be as professional as possible.
We tried.
That. But at that point, we had become so frustrated with the studio that we got really, really vocal about our frustrations. And we get to the end of the podcast, we close the podcast, and then sort of in the post-chat, I turned to Skybolt, and it was more or less, so, should we leave?
That really was it. That was like the final straw where we finally broke.
Let's just fucking leave. So I think that podcast is significant to us because it triggered the birth of EAST Corp Productions. And of course, it was over the course of that week that we got Kelly to join us, and that we we took
a bunch of the studio with us. We took some of the music team. We took some of the only artists who were still doing work. That was Krelak and Sancho, and we started EastCorp, and StableTech essentially just sunk.
No, you guys boarded the ship, and then you took the crew you wanted.
Exactly. Krelak's here, part of the original EastCorp crew. We were just talking about how we stole you when we jumped ship from StableTech.
Yeah, I remember the funny part of some people trying to like kind of keep their feet in both waters, which made sense at the time. You know, that's reasonable. But then after like a month or two, everyone was realizing like, yeah, StableTech is dead, and more people were just start severing ties.
Exactly. It was very weird to do the to do that announcement that we were leaving, because we'd spent a very, very long time at the studio. I mean, technically our birthday spans 2 days, because we did our uploads and so on today, but like it was kind of like an over the course of 2 days thing. It's like a 2-day birthday.
Yeah, it really was just following the Fallout day that we just yeah, it was just like we were talking, and then we were basically getting organization behind the scenes. I told James about the EastCorp channel I had set up a year and a half beforehand, that I was just like ready to turn the key on at any time. Like I knew this might happen one day. So, yeah.
I mean, it's really, really bad that in the course of that 1 month, the 3 most popular videos were the animatic of episode 1, me saying that we were leaving, and actually no, that was it. And then I think the most popular video they've made since then was the one where they shut down.
Well, yeah, that was the other thing too. When was it that we heard through like the grapevine that they were going to shut down? It was like right after New Year's. It was like right as we were getting our new episodes out of Terminal Secrets and Confessions. And then it took them, for some reason, another 3 months. And when do they release the video? Goddamn April Fool's Day. I mean, that explains everything you need to know about fucking StableTech. The worst planning, the worst delayed timing for the poorest execution. God damn.
It was so fucking
stupid.
They didn't even realize it because they uploaded it on March 31st.
Yeah, but it's like it's April 1st across the entire Eastern, world.
Yeah. So they uploaded it then, and then I go and check the video. I look at the date. I'm like, oh shit, everyone's going to think this is an April Fool's joke. So there's a comment pinned at the very, very top of the comment section that says, we realize we posted this around April Fools. That was pure coincidence. This is not a joke. That was me.
Yeah,
as ever,
I know.
Doing damage control.
I know. I mean...
They could... Okay.
It's really stunning, but it tells you everything you need to know about StableTech. So, yeah, obviously you can tell, where the productive elements went when it shut down, and what we actually do here versus what they ever did there. Gosh.
Hearing it kind of makes me happy I never applied.
Yeah, I mean, it's we brought in people like Kelly, our music leader, James Kelly. He was one of the newest members of the team in StableTech when we left, and we had done such a great job, me and him, with Verismo and then some other stuff. It was like, hey, you want to come with us? Like we were, he was like the main person we were looking at for bringing up.
I mean, he's worked, and since then he helped put together with Skybolt, the Gilded Age song, which released on Monday, which, might I say, Skybolt, before this, nothing topped Get Happy until this, which, so fucking really well done on the Gilded Age.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I love that one. Favorite so far.
Yeah, I'm always worried, every time with the, is people going to like it? Or are they going to obviously, everyone likes different songs for different reasons. So I try not to compare them, but yeah, I just, try to do something different. And especially this one is very thematic and how it's going to fit into the larger story, so.
Cool.
I thought that, I figured that's kind of cool. I think maybe we should do that with our Fallout Day songs from now on. Link them into our actual productions.
I plan on doing it next year, that's for sure.
Sweet.
Oh god. Okay, so as you can so this is the celebration day. We're going to reflect on all the fucking shit we've done in the space of a year, because we've released how many videos?
Oh, over 100. Like 125 or
over
something.
100. So when we left Stable Tech, we are at 123 videos at the moment. And 32 of them are podcasts. We left Stable Tech with 14 videos. So in that time, we've made, 109 new videos in a year?
It's pretty impressive.
I mean, I'm pretty fucking stoked with that. I mean, what I kind of like is just that we've been experimenting. We've always been trying something new and interesting. It hasn't always worked. I'm usually the one who pitches an idea, throws something out, advertises the fuck out of it, and then you don't see it again. A little bit of the Stable Tech mentality there. Something behind the scenes. my partially animated series that I never ever got to finishing.
Yeah, animation is death, unfortunately.
That's the problem. The big problem is I've got the audio. Kelly mixed the audio. The script is fucking hilarious. I just have to get off my ass and finish the animation, but that's been taking so much fucking time.
Yeah.
So, if anyone's been waiting for that, or if it's all my fault.
Yeah, it'll come at some point. But yeah, scrolling back down to the bottom, we might as well go like somewhat chronologically. It's like, yeah, so that first week we definitely decided we were going to pull the trigger. So for a few days, James and we were just preparing behind the scenes. So like James was talking to other people and getting his stuff together. And what I started doing was I started re-rendering all the Confessions videos in like their original form, and then with the new EastCorp, with the original names on like the first video, because that was like the first time I was like, fuck Stable Tech, was when they deleted the original post of Confessions off the channel wholesale. That was when did that happen? August of 2014. That sucked. I was so furious about that. And then they also like kind of shit canned the song too, because of some reason. It's like a weird comment or something like, "Oh, we got to put the stop to this."
Why did they do that actually for Confessions?
Because of their paranoia over copyright. They thought that we were somehow, they thought that, Bethesda or whatever is going to come down on us, or Hasbro, and shut us down. I mean, they had this ego that was so swelled beyond any comprehension that because in Confessions a few times we mentioned Celestia and Twilight or whatever, like that's gonna bring the hammer down. It's like, are you fucking kidding?
What?
You know how stupid that is? A, there's no way that YouTube's, robot is listening to it and picking out lines like that in context. B, there's no way Bethesda has anyone listening to a channel that small. Even at its peak, Stable Tech's barely 11,000 subs. It's like, and at that time, it was barely, 4,000. So it was just infuriating.
The mindset came because this happened directly after Jan Animations got shut down.
Yes, someone with 2 million subscribers or something much higher.
That was the big difference, was that everyone knew about Jan Animations. But the difference between Jan Animations and us was that we were doing something vaguely different. But we were a teeny tiny channel at the time.
Well, I mean, even then, the idea that, the animation... none of those characters would have showed up for, 20 episodes, and so everything... I just tried to tell them, just make it. Just make the first episode so we have something, and then when we get to the later episodes where this becomes an actual question, then we'll approach that question. But it's weeks and months of added time just bullshitting about real names and everything. I'm like, none of it would even come up yet.
It's been a while since we've had Skybot ranting good and proper.
Oh, that's what Stable Tech does. It brings out the worst in me.
Like, it makes no sense. They didn't even have an animation up yet.
Yes, I mean, we had the Tyler Teschke stuff, and that was like, that's what gave me hope at the beginning, was, okay, we have an actual animator running the show, but of course he didn't actually run anything, and everything just kind of fell apart.
Oh shit, we've got a Scratchy with us. He joined in the conversation. Hi, Scratchy.
Hi, everybody.
He's really sneaky.
Yeah, Alrighty then. So that's the first video spoken about. Let's speak about the next 122.
Yes.
Most of them podcasts.
Oh yeah, so with the original Confessions, then I was able to re-upload that, and I also had the chance to fix an audio error that was in the original video. So I fixed that, and I re-uploaded it, and that was fantastic. And then we got all the others online, and yeah, we essentially started by porting over all the videos, like, you know, because the Balefire Symphony is me and all our musicians. Like, at the time, really, it was just me and Ryan and Kelly, and the three of us were leaving. So it was like, okay, we're just going to take it wholesale, because they don't own Balefire Symphonies.
Yeah.
That's one reason I was trying to keep it separate.
We essentially took over everything that we personally had created. We left the animated series soundtrack on their channel. I do remember there was conversation at the time of whether or not of what was going to happen to our videos on the Stable Tech channel. I'm surprised to see they're still there. Part of me assumed Stable Tech would outright delete everything we had done.
That was the other thing, is we assumed
we had
they would burn us. Yeah.
I started doing screenshots of the comment sections on my video because I didn't want to lose some of the comments if they got deleted.
Yes, yeah, me too. No, we actually did that. Before we told any of them, we went through and took screenshots of everything.
Because there are some really, really nice comments on there. My personal favorite is still the Terminal Secrets episode 2. Someone left a 3-paragraph comment just dissecting why episode 1 had a stronger philosophy than episode 2. You put more thought into this analysis of our writing than Skybolt and I put into writing the episodes. But surprisingly, they didn't. No, Stable Tech didn't do anything, which I was actually quite glad of, not just because of the comments, but also because I thought it would have been quite overly dramatic. I mean, the channel itself would have been gutted to lose all of that content essentially overnight. I mean, the channel was gutted when we left anyway, but it wasn't a visual gutting.
Yeah, no, that was our complaint, you know? It's like you look at the whole channel, and 90% of the content was stuff that was very much driven by us and, like, our group of people. Well, and then when they actually get around, they did delete a big chunk of videos, and it was none of our stuff. It was the very old Stable Talk, like...
Stable Talk.
Yeah. I still don't know why they did that or who did that.
Well, they haven't deleted them. They've just made them private. So I do have access to them because I've still got the password to the Stable Tech channel. And it's I've got the password because I changed the password a while back and gave it out to certain old Stable Tech members. I'm not going to say... it's unfortunate. I really want to see what the password's name is, but obviously I won't because that would be stupid. It's a very funny joke. It's a very funny joke what I changed the password to.
They haven't changed it yet? Really?
No.
No, none of them care. The Stable Tech is dead, so it's like, I think James is probably the only one who's logged on in all these months. Then again, every once in a while, one of them will respond to a comment on the last video. But then again, it hasn't happened for a while, because most of them are just, you know, fuck Stable Tech comments.
Yeah.
I like to check up on the Stable Tech channel every now and then. I go through the comment sections, because, I don't know, I read as many comments as I can. On the EastCorp channel, obviously, I read every comment because because you know our videos tend to get 8 comments, like 32 on our bigger videos, but it's more like the 2 to 8 to 0 range. Stable Tech, I also try to keep up with the
I try to keep up with the comments, because every now and then people do come by. Usually they just go through through the old StableTech videos and leave RIP, rip us, which, by the way, that's 100% what they should have renamed, what they should have named the shutdown video to.
Rip us.
Well, I mean, originally they named it something really stupid. They named it like an update on the animated series and some news about StableTech.
Yeah,
eventually, I actually went in and if the video now says the shutdown of StableTech Studios, and that's just because I went and put changed the title, because it needs to be fucking clear what's happening.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I think 3 weeks while we were working, while EastCorp was running, we had people asking us, "But what happened to StableTech?"
Yeah, because they were just so bad, even about the closing announcements. They couldn't be forthright up front. It's like, come on, you guys. This is the most basic of information, is that channel's dead, bye-bye. But no, it had to be this rambly, 5-minute long, kind of half-assed explanation that really was kind of a lie. It's like, come on.
Yeah, I can kind of understand being terrified of the repercussions, though, because everyone was hyped for it.
Well, I mean, they have to be clear, because otherwise then people are just left in the dark. You see a video with the name Shutdown of StableTech, that's pretty clear right up front.
Yeah. Like, yeah, I don't agree with the original title, but I can see why.
Oh, so stupid.
And then once we moved all our old videos over, the first piece of original content we did was is also one of our most viewed videos, which is our channel trailer. Which we really need to make a new channel trailer.
Yeah.
Because this old one the old one takes all the StableTech context into mind. So most of this 1-minute video is just Skybolt and I explaining in bits and pieces, okay, we're not working at StableTech anymore. We're doing our own thing.
Yes.
StableTech, something about our own thing.
Yeah. It was essentially a transitionary, video. And I put something similar on my own channel just for my own fans and for other people in general, that they can kind of get the idea that, okay, we're moving all the stuff we did there into something on its own, but we're still doing all of our stuff.
And now that we're a year in, officially as of today, once again, happy birthday to us.
Yes, happy birthday to us.
I'm gonna have to say that another 28 times during this video. Anyway, we need to make a new channel trailer. I've been looking at it, but I've encountered two major problems. The first is the 123 videos that we've made.
Yes.
So that's, a fuckload of hours worth of content. That essentially, to make a trailer for this channel, you've got to skim through, watch every single video, and find the right lines of dialogue, find the right moments, the ones that best represent the channel. And there's a lot, especially when it comes to the podcasts. So, by the way, if we have any fans who are feeling like doing a rewatch of the podcast, go into the comment sections of those podcasts with a timestamp and say where the funniest lines were, so that I don't have to do the work.
Yes.
I'm
but
not
the
sure
other problem
which.
I run into is a problem of tone, because half of our content is super serious with confessions and terminal secrets, and then everything else is really, really like with the podcast and with some of our other videos. All that shit's really fucking funny. So balancing that weird tone we have in like a 1 to 2 minute trailer is it's been bugging me.
You do realize that a lot of people are going to comment on the older podcast videos with timestamps of Skybolt going off on StableTech?
That's easy to do, yeah.
I can see it happening.
Just have the entire trailer Skybolt going off on StableTech.
That's just going to be the trailer.
I think it's something that's popped into my head here. Maybe try the new channel video, something like a commercial for like the old Fallout 3 commercials they did for Vault Tech. Maybe something like that.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I always loved the Prepare for the Future campaign. I remember even early on in Stable Tech, I tried to model that as something we could like copy, like the Buck promo, which had nothing to do with Buck, the British PronyCon. It was our version of like what was it? The goat. And so I took inspiration for that, and then also I have a very old song called oh, I can't even remember, but it's like a very short little like a cappella piece. And it's the same kind of thing. I found someone who did art from one of those Prepare for the Future trailers. Those are great.
Yeah. What I had in mind was sort of run the serious stuff at the beginning, like maybe have Get Happy playing in the background, because that's been my go-to for a while. I guess I'll have to use Gilded Age now. And then you deal with the serious stuff, and then you cut to black, and then you've got, all right, just like we rehearsed, and then you play, and then you play our 100th video special, the Straight Out of Stables. You do all the comedy. So
yeah, I got like a month after we finally released that, I finally got a comment from one of the other guys who like wrote the lyrics in that chat room, and he was getting all up in his, fucking high horse, like, oh, how dare you, we need to talk, and you use this video and blah, 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 like I had stolen it from them or something. I'm like, okay, man, let me lay this out. So not only did I take the lyrics that, like, a bunch of people had thrown into, not just this guy that was riding me, I took these lyrics, and I was the one who was like, okay, yeah, let's actually produce this, and took the lead to make the audio and the music and take the original instrumental for most of it. And then I actually recorded the demo, which, yes, originally there was that guy who was going to be like Calamity or something, and Aaron or whatever, our original Little Pip was going to be Little Pip. And, of course, no one got back to me. I emailed and texted people about it so many times. And finally, when we left Stable Tech, I'm like, okay, well, this was a joke that's like a year dead. And so then once we reached 1,000 subs on our channel, I'm like, well, I've got this whole demo that sounds kind of good on its own. Let's just drop it for fun. So it's just like, fuck these people. It's just like Stable Tech. All this effort. It's like, I don't care if you put a few drops in. Whoever carries it to the finish line is the one who made the damn video.
See, it's a gold mine.
Yeah, I mean, it was almost like The Social Network, the movie about Facebook, and, the tall Chad brothers being like, oh, but Facebook was our idea. It's like, no, your idea was to have a college-based Friendster series. And then, this creepy, robotic lizard guy, Mark Zuckerberg, he actually carried it over the finish line and made, multi-billion-dollar website. It's like, that's what matters.
Like the best, the best. It kind of all comes down to that one line. If you guys were the inventors of Facebook, you'd have invented Facebook.
Yeah. So,
which also Aaron Sorkin writing.
Oh yeah, that was great. That was good stuff.
Yes.
And the other thing I put up in that original batch of our videos that we reposted was Brave New World, which originally, and for anyone who watches it on my channel, you can tell it was supposed to be a Stable Tech video. But at the last minute, because of a few bad comments on Every Story Comes to an End, they blocked it from going on the Stable Tech channel, and also they didn't want me to establish myself as Red Eye, because, oh god, we can't have that. That was when they were like drawing, every piece away from me when I was contributing to the studio. So yeah, that was completely shit canned, and I put it up on my channel, but boy, was I bitter about that. And then the next song I had in the docket, I was like, all right, I'm going to finish the song, Get Happy, and I'm not going to ask for permission. I'm just going to upload it. And luckily, the person I was working with, Tyler Teschke, was still the studio owner or runner or whatever. So it's like, as soon as I got the art from him, I'm like, so Tyler, I'm just posting this. I'm not talking to anyone. And he's like, yeah, dude, yeah, go for it. So that was the birth of Get Happy, was along with my creativity spark that gave me the idea, was the bitterness over them rejecting Brave New World, which is insane how many like pieces went in Brave New World. I had a deal with L Train to do the audio,
Right,
which
you
did
got
a
the
great
fucking
job.
L Train.
And then we've got like our entire cast in the thing. We've got our 4 main ladies singing backup. And then we've got Frey, who was the Calamity voice actor, doing that one guy. And it's like this great art by Vector Brony. And I'm like, you're really just going to shit can this? And of course, they did. So, yeah, that's why as soon as we started up EastCorp, I'm like, I'm putting Brave New World up right away. Fuck these guys.
Was there only a few comments on Every Story Must Come to an End? Because that song is fucking awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. It was like a handful of things, and it was a weird time in the studio at that time. That was after the reorg where the original director got kicked out, and so like many people were vying for power, and I think that was sort of it was sort of an expression of power to sort of like establish dominance.
Oh God! Everything just descended into tribal anarchy.
It was a cock measuring contest. That's all it was.
God damn it!
Which is fine. I mean, if you measure my cock in the videos on the channel, it's several inches longer than theirs.
God damn it, Skybolt.
And also uncut, so fuck them.
Wow, okay, cool. So we're doing that.
They're with the PG rating.
No, it kind of goes back to one of my absolute favorite lines from I think it was Assassin's Creed actually. The nothing hangs between your legs. In fact, if you were to look there, you would see a hole that goes into the fucking underworld.
That's like marriage in a nutshell.
Which Assassin's Creed game is that from?
May or may not have been very sexist remarks.
And then we had one of one of my personal favorite podcasts, which is the very first Breakroom, in the line of our new Stable Tech podcast, which is just me and James. And you can tell between listening to the last one and that one, just like this weight lifted off our shoulders.
That was exactly because I mean one of the major things with the Breakroom podcast was we had limits on time, we had limits on how much on what we were allowed to say. We didn't want to 100% upset the people on the top, and we were also terrified of our fans. That was another major thing, was that we didn't want to say too much to upset the Stable Tech fans because that was a very precarious situation. They were pissed off at Stable Tech, and rightly so.
Yes.
And we didn't want to do anything to trigger that or make that even worse. Trigger alert!
Yeah.
So the problem, so when we got to this, it was kind of like, well, fuck that shit. We've got our own damn fan base now. We're gonna say whatever the fuck we want, and it's almost 2 hours. And most of it, I think, most of it, we were ranting about the fact that every series that we found that we liked just ended relationships.
Yeah.
But I think it's like gave birth to the line of, God, I can't wait for Bernie to get married, and he'll stop tearing apart relationships.
Yes, and Miles too. And you can already see it. It's like he's getting married, and so finally, fucking Nora and Ren are getting together. It's like, that's what it took. And then, of course, one of them will die, but, that's, it was a fun way to start the channel. And then immediately we start rolling out the Wasteland Survival Guide announcement, because that was another thing we planned in Stable Tech years ago. That art that Tyler Teschke made is like May of 2014, and we're like, we need to get this going. This is a great, simple writing series, but at the time it was just completely torpedoed at Stable Tech for no real reason.
And the fucking
oh my God, do we have Kelly? Kelly.
Yes,
Kelly.
I'm on my phone.
Happy anniversary, Kelly.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary, everyone.
Hi, Kelly.
Kelly was our triumvirate, our three musketeers as we marched out of Stable Tech on horseback.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Kelly, would you like to describe that time, that process, now that we've got you for some amount of time? What did you first hear? Like, I think it was James who first approached you, like, Kelly, we got to get out of here. This is bullshit.
I think it was like I can't remember the actual conversation, but I think it was basically you took me to an underground dungeon of secrecy. Of
What?
by the way, we've got a secret plan that we're going to leave, and it's like, oh, this is a bit spicy. Okay, what's going to go on? And then they're like, yeah, let's make a new studio, and you can be the head of music. And I'm like, hell yeah, I'm there.
We did kind of bribe him. It was perfect.
Yeah, I would have came anyway, but head of music sounds quite nice. So yeah, I came along, and the rest is history. We've had a great time, I think.
Also, apparently, head of bot development.
Yeah, I went a bit crazy, didn't I? Like a couple of weeks ago now, of just let's add a bot.
Damn robots.
Yeah, I think we've got 3 at the moment.
No. So that was after about a month. Also, because in that first week, we gained like 500-600 subscribers in that first week. It was that was just the most uplifting thing, because at the time we weren't 100% certain that we were going to succeed.
No.
That wasn't guaranteed. All we kind of knew was that we wanted to build something new by ourselves, that we could own and that we could be proud of. And that first week was just fucking amazing. We're just watching the subscriber counter just going up and up and up.
Yeah, between the video on the StableTech channel and then the one on mine, I feel like that was a good surge of like, okay, we really do have the fans. Because it's like, again, you look at StableTech, it's 11,000 fans. It's like, a lot of them came from us and our videos. It's like, a handful of animated trailers are one thing, but we were the ones that actually made real content, not just promotions.
Yeah,
exactly. Made narrative content.
Yeah, I saw the announcement trailer that you guys were leaving. I was like, okay, awesome. I'm going to follow that. Like, I instantly went and subscribed because, yes, more please.
Yep.
And of course.
Well, I think we had a comment on one of our videos saying, I'm glad you guys are doing, took over Fallout Equestria. And it's like, thank you, I think. I think he was talking about Confessions. But I think it was a nice compliment for, overall.
That's what we're actively working toward, I know, because now that Project Horizons and some of the other big ones are wrapped, I want that fan base. I want all those fans to come to us. That's what we're working toward.
Yeah.
You're going to have to fight me for it.
I know. This is a polyamorous. You can love all the Fallout Equestria. That's fine.
Yeah.
But for me, I know I didn't feel like the channel was a success, honestly, until I was able to get the Ranger, the Confessions 5, up on the channel. Because it proved to me, like, in a lot of ways that it's like, yes, it's not StableTech. We made this on our own, and we can be successful independent of them.
Yeah,
exactly.
That was kind of the moment of, okay, they're actually getting shit done.
Because because November was like this huge fucking rush, because we had everyone firing on all cylinders, and because I personally didn't know what was going to happen in December, because I figured, it's December, it's Christmas holidays, is everyone going to just fuck off? And I remember saying to just our entire EastCorp family at the time, well, December's coming. We're mostly wrapped up on some of these productions. You got so we've covered for this. So if you guys want to fuck off, you can fuck off, and we'll see you guys back in January. And the general responses were, "Nah, we're good. Let's throw us something else. Let's do something."
Yeah, it was let's keep working. Let's not stop. That was the general message I got from people.
It was so fucking fantastic because people kept working. We managed to get a lot of work done in December. We managed to get Terminal Secrets really, really on board. We were just missing one voice actress, our primary one. We were still trying to get a hold of her.
Yeah.
And then, of course, our Ditsy 2 auditions finished, and we got Needle Stitch.
Yes.
Who It's actually kind of funny to think that she wasn't there with us in the beginning, because she's been with us since month 3, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
We tried getting that set up pretty quickly.
But she's been a very, very integral part of the studio since she arrived, which has been quite fantastic. And then, of course, when the time came for me to give up on having on the old voice actress for Butterfly Stitch and Terminal Secrets, and we had I think a week or 2 left before the release date, and Kelly has everything edited except the primary voice actress and these 3 other characters. Can you just do these?
Yeah.
We got it so close.
No, it was just great. And then to get the foreword and then the Christmas special, it was like The Simpsons. We kicked off essentially with a Christmas special, and that was great too. Just to see a series that, because way back in the day, before I was even on the writing team, I had pitched or I had contributed half of a script for the old Wasteland Survival Guide when it was these much bigger sort of chapter things, and I was I really wanted to see that come to fruition too. We've been talking about that for years.
God, and then I think for Christmas, what else? Oh God,
it looks like there was the Cult
Classic,
released. One of those original rants.
Yes, exactly. There you go. Yeah, behind the scenes, which hasn't been released.
Yes, as I said,
the audio's done. The animation isn't. James.
Currently, behind the scenes, that is. See, we're not Stable Tech. I'm going to be completely honest. The fact that behind the scenes isn't done is completely my fault. The audio has been done for a very long time. I just haven't been able to get to. It yet. I do intend to get to it eventually, because it's a 14-minute episode. It's really, really funny.
2 weeks.
And it's a pretty solid. Yeah, 2 weeks. I forgot about that. So. Oh God, more like 2 years.
Oh, you know what else came out in that time was the episode 1 Dose remaster, which again was Kelly's fantastic reworking.
Yeah.
That was I think mid-November. Let me open this up.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Thanksgiving. So end of November.
Yeah. Because
I remember the original audio editing for that.
Oh yeah, that was meta shit. It's this is giving me a headache. What the fuck?
I remember that because even before I even started doing most of this, I took that audio and tried making it sound okay by just compressing the hell out of it, and it still hurt to listen to. And I was like...
This is actually a behind-the-scenes question. Is Vermont banned from audio editing?
No, he is not banned. He has got a hell of a lot better since that first episode.
So I did do that. The problem is, so the first episode of Terminal Secrets, I edited by myself in a single afternoon.
Yeah.
Which. That was a job. That was an edit that I did a single pass on, which was just a terrible, terrible idea.
The context, though, was it had been so many years since Terminal Secrets had been conceived. It was you want to get it out as badly as you can.
I wanted to get it out. I had all the audio, I had everything. I was like, okay, cool. Let's sit down and do this. And also because, like an idiot, I was doing all my editing for audio in Premiere Pro for some weird reason. The stupid thing is I owned the Adobe package at the time. I still do. But I owned the full Creative Cloud. So I don't know why I didn't just port it into Audition and work there, because that's what I do now. If I'm not sending work to Kelly, and if I'm editing the work myself, then I'll just throw it together in Audition, because a bunch of the videos on this channel were edited by me in Audition, and they aren't that awful. So the original reveal of Untypical
which is the first video, which was the first video since Terminal Secrets that I did that was a high level of complexity because it had shouting and effects and music and so on. And that and even then, I finished it. I sent the audio over to Kelly, and I was like, "Hey, Kelly, can you just make sure that this sounds right? Because I don't want another dose to happen again, please."
Kelly's definitely the best mixer audio guy at the studio by far.
Oh, thank you guys. Oh.
Well, you can see the increase in quality of Terminal Secrets as we go up. Episode 2, which was co-edited by Kelly and I, and the quality went up, and then episodes 3 and 4, where Kelly just did it himself, and of course we all know the quality of episode 4 in literally every single regard.
Yeah, I still love the soundscaping in 4. As soon as she hits the Wasteland, it's like all of that stuff is quality.
Yeah. The secret is to just really criticize yourself every single mistake, and then you never make the mistake again.
Why did you do that? You're such a terrible person.
Yeah, literally, it's like, how am I this bad? I must be better. It's just like, it's not a healthy way of improving, but it's a definite quick way of improving. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, if you like what you did the first time, you're doing it wrong.
Oh, actually,
yes.
I used to do that to myself, and I just almost quit writing entirely.
Oh, jeez, really?
I'm a very self-deprecating writer as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still absolute trash. Especially script writing. God damn it. That's hard.
I've taken my writing process and I've just turned it into such a long pre-planned process, which it's a shame. I miss free writing. It was a lot more fun, but it's a lot better now because I'm planning it out a bit more, which is a shame. There is a certain joy into just sitting down and letting creativity flow when it's flowing. That is. I mean, I think I wrote maybe. So the entirety of the noir monologue in Terminal Secrets episode 4 was written like that. I had one thing planned out, which was that her recurring phrase about being foolish was inspired by that Samurai Jack the Samurai Jack noir episode with the guy who the robot sort of kept talking about his dog. He kept he'd refer to his dog and say "sweet thing," and then kind of and then eventually he dies and he's like "sweet thing," and then dead. So that was the sort of repetition of a phrase before a character's death was the only sort of planning I had. But then everything else was like train of thought. It was like train of thought. Let the creativity flow.
Actually, that
was definitely one of the better parts of the episode.
Yeah, that's actually what brought that scene to life.
Thank you. Yeah, I suppose there is definitely something to be said about creative flow. That probably one of the strongest parts of the writing of that episode was the part that I didn't plan out.
Yeah.
Maybe planning is overrated.
Maybe a little bit.
I've started planning after you showed me that the thing we use for the script writing of Untypical.
Oh my! Wait, which thing? Oh yes, that method.
Yes.
I've expanded that, by the way. That method.
Ooh, I'd like you to tell me about that because that is working really great for my novel actually.
Right. Well, I mean, essentially, all that method is I essentially pulled out 2 concepts from Robert McKee. Because I mean, you bought a physical copy of that book. I don't actually have a physical copy of that book.
I've actually finished it.
Yeah, I mean, I've read I only ever read the parts that are relevant to whatever I'm writing at the time. I actually haven't read it cover to cover.
I always read a book cover to cover first.
I'm right now I'm busy trying to track down fucking so my college library. I mean, we are a film school,
And they so on the recommendation of Scratchy, I went to go try and get a copy of The Hero with 1,000 Faces, and which is, I mean, they don't have it. It is a film school library.
What? It's essential reading.
Exactly. It's a fucking. I mean, because I mean that's the hero's journey is the. Every writer learns the hero's journey in some form or another. But not that there, which is a shame because that was the next one I wanted to read. But
towards that end, does the Iliad count?
Pardon?
Towards that end, for like the hero's journey, does the Iliad count? Or is that too old literature?
No, I mean I read the Iliad when I was still in high school, like 5 years ago. So I actually can't really remember much about it. I can't remember if it counts. I read it when I was at my most pretentious.
Yeah, I didn't read it at all. It wasn't in our school catalog or whatever.
What? It wasn't in my school.
I read it just because I have a pure interest in classical literature, so I also read Dante's Inferno.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Inferno.
I actually haven't read that. Okay, to be fair, writers should take an interest in classical literature. Writers should read shit, you know?
Writers should read shit.
Writers should read shit. There's you can put that on... You can put... That's a quote that you should put on money. But for anyone who's curious, by the way, the method I was giving Wendy was the essentially how you break down a scene. It's desire, action, conflict, and change, and the conflict is broken down as a series of positive and negative beats, to help balance tone and pacing. So the idea being, what does every single character in that scene desire? Then what do they do in that scene to get that desire? If they're not doing anything to get that desire in that scene, then you've got to ask yourself, what's the point of them in that scene? So it just helps you. It also helps you clear out some characters. So you go from they take the action, then there's conflict because there's always got to be the hero and the obstacle. There's conflict, and then you sort of write it down as a series of pluses and minuses, with the idea being that because interest in drama is always created when you move from a positive beat to a negative beat or a negative beat to a positive beat. Those are the movements that create interest in a story. So it's kind of that. So the conflict is just a series of positive and negative beats, and you can then it's almost like math where you can kind of add up how many negative beats are there, how many positive beats are there. Is this the tone of? Like, okay, cool. There are 5 negative beats. There are 7 positive beats. Did I want the tone of my scene to be an overly positive one? You can because sometimes I find when I'm reading something in first draft, the tone isn't apparent to me until I've had it often where I've missed the tone right up until the point where we release the fucking episode where I'm hearing the voice actor saying the line, and we've got a compiled scene, and it's like, fuck, that wasn't quite the tone I was going for that scene. What the fuck did I do wrong? So it's just a nice way of organizing your thoughts, and then you move into change, which something changes, the story is altered, you move forward, which I also quite like. It's a method that just it helps you organize your scenes, and it stops scenes from being pointless. We were watching The Wolf of Wall Street just before this podcast started, and I love The Wolf of Wall Street. It's a fantastic film, but it has so many pointless fucking scenes. Oh my god. No.
Yeah.
Bad Scorsese.
But porting it over from script writing to prose it's a bit awkward, but it works.
Yeah, it all
prose
depends
for
on the kind of script. That's definitely the most important thing of writing is knowing your medium, knowing your audience, and knowing what the heck you're actually writing.
Ooh.
Yeah, I haven't listened to it in a while, which now that we're going through all our old videos, so after we started posting the Wasteland Survival Guide stuff, on December 24th, I posted up the original Terminal Secrets pitch episode, which is just this, I think maybe 2 days earlier, I had found...
Oh, is that the one with the Cutie Mark Crusaders?
Yeah, that's the one with the Cutie Mark Crusaders. And
Ooh.
I mean, it's not great. It's not great. It's also one that I had edited myself. At the very least, that time I used Logic 10 to edit it instead of Premiere. But that doesn't necessarily mean it was a particularly good episode. The writing was and we had our voice actress for the Crusader mainframe wasn't quite as good as Hypnodunk. So she doesn't have the same texture to her voice. She's not quite as alive. She played an AI very much like an AI, which I suppose makes sense logically speaking, and speaks to my being a pretty shite director at the time if I couldn't get her to do that. And of course, people in the comment section are bitching about the audio leveling.
Yeah, I'm looking through. So, yeah, we got, once we had a VA, once we had Needle for Wasteland Survival Guide, then in, like, December, I remember us we started writing that first batch of episodes, including, like, the Clean Water and the Forward and Great War and stuff. So, that lasted us all the way up until, like, the end of Traps, I think. And then, like, I wrote celebrations for the convention, and then we did the next batch.
Oh, yeah. Which Wasteland Survival Guide is currently on a break at the moment. It's going to be returning fairly shortly, though. Just catching up.
Fairly shortly.
That explains it.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
So a year.
Our logic for that, though, was that we had just came out with both series, like, updated with Confession 6 and Terminal Secrets 4, so it was like, yeah, there's plenty of content to listen to if you're bored.
Yeah, exactly. And I've got a weekly series that's been running on, which all of, like, 50 people have been watching. It's been so great.
I've been loving it.
Great.
Yeah, the 50 people who watch it every week have been loving it.
I mean, I might be a bit biased, but hey.
Oh yes, you wrote episodes 6 through 14 of that?
Yes.
So we're doing, I think, 2 or 3 episodes are being released in a single video from that series tomorrow, because tomorrow is also another important anniversary, because tomorrow is World Audio Drama Day, celebrating the 79th anniversary of the original broadcast of War of the Worlds.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
Probably the most famous audio drama of all time.
Yeah.
Why?
People thought it was actually real.
I should admit, I'm still tempted to add more to the Wasteland Survival Guide.
Oh, well, I mean, the Patreon tier is always there.
I know. I'm tempted by it. Like, I did the Chems one, so...
Yeah, exactly. Your Wasteland Survival Guide chapter on chems was pretty good.
I'm not sure where we're going from here, actually. Like, now that, like, we're about to write our next batch of episodes, I'm trying to come up with new ideas, too. Like, what haven't we covered yet? So...
Yeah,
I've been trying to put together something resembling a vague story, because I poked at it a little bit back in, I think it was Great War Alliances. Yeah, I poked in something about a region of of a region of the world that had been discussed in the show that had not been discussed since.
Are you killing off?
Or
or in any full-on Equestria story.
Okay,
And
Vermont, I have to ask, are you killing off the yaks?
What?
Are you killing off the yaks?
No, I'm not killing off the yaks.
Although he
Oh my
really,
God.
really wants to.
I know.
Really, really want to. And if I do it, it's not going to be done in Wasteland Survival Guide. It's going to be done in a fully produced audio drama so that you can hear them screaming and dying. I want to save
Yak
it.
society survives unscathed.
No.
It could be worse,
If they
Scratchy.
die, I want you all to hear it. I want the satisfaction of writing down their death. Because there's still a waste of screen time. And a waste of animation budget.
It could be how Chosen wrote them, and have them be space marines. Yeah.
No.
And I'm over here trying to
they're
come up with actual survival chapters of the survival guide that would make sense in the context of the story.
Yeah, see, I stopped pretending that my chapters were about surviving.
Yes,
long
James completely
ago, and
forgot what the point of the survival guide was.
Yeah.
If anything,
I mean,
I'm tempted by a chapter about blacksmithing.
Ooh, blacksmithing, that is a good one.
Then,
I'm gonna write that down.
oh shit! Yeah. No, I mean, every now and then, if I do a lore chapter, I'll sometimes write Ditsy coming up with, like, she'll offer a vague sort of thing saying, this counts as survival because of this. Right, now onto the history lesson. This is just an excuse so that Vermont can do some world building. Which, I mean, it's a pretty good excuse. Vermont does like his world building.
Yep. World building's always fun.
I can hear Skype typing theory. Wait, no, that's not Skype. I don't see his little avatar picture going bleep bleep bleep. So the next video up on the list, we have Hunger and the Ranger. That was the month of January. Oh shit! And the month of January also didn't just see Hunger and the Ranger. It also saw the our very first the launch of Patreon.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
Which did pretty fundamentally change the channel.
That's where we come in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where our
The most
wonderful-
important month.
Yeah.
We've just got a bunch of our patrons piled into the chat now because it's it's basically just a free for all at this point. I really do want to thank our patrons for actually wait. I wrote a very lovely statement in the patron chat earlier.
Oh yes, I saw.
I'm going to read the entire thing out because I want to. But they have posted. There have been so many pictures of Blackjack posted. I'm going to have to scroll up for a little bit.
Yeah,
Most of these pictures are her drunk.
I am not sure where the blackjack pictures came from. I had nothing to do with it for once.
Same for me.
That's all I can say.
Chaos and Rainbow Diamond, essentially.
I am scrolling up in the wrong chat right now.
Oh yeah, I'm in the echo chamber, dang it.
There we
Same.
go. Okay, cool. Prepared statement. Ladies, gentlemen, patrons, smart horses, chaoses, game
Hey.
docs, and scratchies, brackets, who I just saw came online, close brackets, full stop. I added a full stop just for you, Scratchy.
Much appreciated.
And
He can
brackets.
learn.
Oh, God.
For those of you out of the loop, whenever I handed in scripts back when I was still learning, I never added full stops ever. It used to infuriate me. I still barely add full stops. All right. It is my eternal pleasure to thank you all for your support over this last year. The transition from Stapletech to EastCorp was not a surefire thing for Sky, Kelly, and myself. We didn't know how many people would transition over from the old studio to us, and we didn't know what our future would be. In our first week, we gained 500 subscribers, and since then, we've gained more. And all of you here have supported us to no end, helping us fund the studio so that we might make our content even more fantastic. You let us hire fantastic cast members and talented artists. 3 of you helped pay for my fucking college fees, and every single one of you has been an inspiration to help us continue onward, creating fantastic content for this channel. We're entering our 2nd year now, and I am far more certain that the channel will continue to grow. Thanks to you, all of us have been able to step out of Stapletech's channels and turn EastCorp into its own thing. You're all the best. Keep being the best. Keep being wonderful. #ZebraDex.
Okay, so the smut horse thing is staying, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's never going away.
It's never going away.
God damn it! I hate you. I hate you, Vermont.
I'm just going to go into every single story you've written on film fiction, and I will comment about. I will make smart horse jokes in every single story.
Okay, Vermont, you may do that on one condition: you actually review the story.
But so much of it is porn.
I know.
I want to see that.
Okay.
Same.
You know what? If enough people say it in the comments section, not only will I review it, I will review it on this fucking channel.
Oh, everyone start commenting. Who wants Vermont to review one of my stories?
Yes. Do it.
Do what? Skyballs?
Wait, what now?
Oh, did you miss that?
I heard it vaguely, yeah. It's up to you. Whatever you guys want to do. I don't care. Another thing we talked about early on when we formed the channel was for the most part we let each other post whatever, because that was part of the problem with Stapletech, is it always hampered ideas, where both James and I are of the mindset of you have to roll the dice. You got to take a chance with things to see if they work or not. And so in 99% of the time, we will not block each other's stuff. And only in very rare occasions, like that 1 or 2 sentences in Great War Alliances, and we can talk about this now,
Yeah.
1 or 2 sentences in Great War Alliances, when James is sweepingly picking up all these species for his side of the shared universe, and he happens to mention the Crystal Empire. This is 6 months after I had cast him in the Ice Mare, which heavily involves the Northern Crystal Commonwealth, as we had transformed it. And so I had to, like, gently remind James, like, hold on now. You've already dibsed, like, 5 species. You know, you don't need the Northern Crystal Commonwealth also. So that was the one time that I had to, like, kind of, like, veto power.
It was so funny. James, did you not read the fucking script I cast? You already sent lines in for the script, James. You've recorded this, so you've read it.
Yeah, so that was ridiculous. Because you see, my approach to it has been like the original Fallout universe of Equestria being subdivided up into all these, you know, subsections, and that would be neat. So I don't know.
Also, it seems like the chat is a bit unanimous, James.
Okay, cool. So when I next get a moment, I will review one of Smart Horse's porn.
I also have an idea of which one.
I do not.
Okay, I already knows which one it is.
You have so many.
Okay, so no, I'm choosing the thing. I'm choosing it.
I'd suggest making of a Songbird, because that's probably my best story.
No, it's not going to be Songbird. It's going to be the one with the plushie.
Oh, good God!
I fucking knew it! I knew it!
No!
Okay.
The violets!
But yeah, so as Sky was saying,
I hate you so much!
Oh, man.
As you guys can tell, just to confirm what Sky was saying, we do take a lot of risks here, and you can tell that because, I mean, fucked if there are so many videos on this channel that are just me trying out new things. There was the Anthem Logs, which was just a very short lore series to help warm people up to the idea of Untypical. Then, of course, Untypical has now started. There's the Bureaucrat story. It's basically kind of a thing. Every time I go into the
every time I go into the executives chat, what's it called now? What's the executive?
I thought it was the
Capital
Four Horsemen chat originally.
Yeah, but it's now called capital B, capital D.
Oh, yes.
Originally, I mean, just before that, I'd called it Kinky Kelly's Dungeon.
Kelly has us all up against the wall, Pulp Fiction style.
Oh, Lordy.
Typically, if I've got a new idea for a series, it's usually a thing of very tentatively, guys, I've got a new idea for a series. And then I'm sort of just waiting for them to jump in and say, no, James, you've got like a dozen different projects already. Usually they pretty much go for it. That's why with the bureaucrat one, I used the excuse of, guys, I've got this new project, except, and it's not that I'm going to do it, it's that I've already done it. There are like 23 episodes, I've already recorded them and edited them, and they're all ready for upload. So, I mean, you can't stop me at this point.
He made it in advance, which is fine. It's whatever.
Which is why it's been able to maintain a weekly. Because that's kind of the major point of the two major points of it is we've got some nice weekly content with a nice narrative structure, and it also lets me practice my voice acting, because after Skybolt cast me in the Ice Mare, it's kind of like that little bug, like, oh my god, voice acting, it's actually kind of fun.
Yes. And that was a trade-off, too, if I remember right. That was, you play a part in that because I got to be the villain in Dose, which was fun. And that was special.
You also somehow roped me into it.
And also because, we had to make our crossover complete.
Yes, I was so happy to finally close that loop with the Ice Mare. That was so great. We had planned that way before Dose was even released.
Was like so that was absolutely fantastic, because one of the original kind of things we wanted to do, and one of the original plot lines was that we wanted, and I've dropped it now essentially, was earlier Terminal Secrets. We wanted to give you the idea that you questioned in your head that it might have been possible that no gas was released into Pinken's stable at all. The idea that they were just fucking with Butterfly, or the idea that they were using pre-recorded messages, or this or that, which affected how much Skybolt was able to write in the Ice Mare, because we had to keep it vague for Terminal Secrets, which is unfortunate now because I threw that plot point away because that was a dumb plot point.
Yeah, and it was fine anyway. I of course had all the other headcanon of how she got out, because you remember at the time when all the gases start shooting, they're all down there in the cold storage lab, and pretty much everyone's dead. Like, it's just essentially Pinken and what's his name, the guy and his guards.
Oh, Lugnut.
Lugnut and his posse. So they have no idea what the heck is down there. It's their first time in the lab. So as soon as the gas starts, Pinken, it's like sort of like that lab reaction, like, oh no, I'm gonna grab the gas mask, and she does. So by the time that she's got that on, they're already keeling over, and that's the only way she gets out, is she already knows where the gas mask is, but even still, this stable tech, so it's starting to seep through the edges of the mask.
God damn it.
Yeah, and so she goes up, and her parents are already dead. I always wonder, I mean, not that it's canon or anything, but whether her dad died because of the necrocerebriosis, or if he died because of the gas. Like, was he already dead before they made it back? It's one of those dark
Can we talk about the fact that you still remember and can perfectly pronounce that fucking disease?
Hell yeah. I spent a lot of time on that. Necrocerebriosis.
Most of the voice actors who read the script could, so Pinken's voice actress, she was reading the script. Nexibiosis.
Yeah, that was actually cute, the way she just kind of sputtered it out. I was okay with that.
Yeah. It worked in context, but it was not what she had intended. It was just because most people just kept messing up the line.
Yes.
I remember it bugging Skybolt because he put the phonetic spelling in brackets next to it every single time it popped up.
Yes, and not only that, but unlike Cal the Stag of James's second episode, I did a full demo of Dose before any of the VAs started recording. So all I had to do was listen to that 30-minute demo that everyone can hear on my channel, and you know how to pronounce it.
Yeah, unfortunately, no one. I should have done that with episode 2, or at least I should have just gone out and released. I should have just had a single voice clip of me saying Calistage on repeat, because not one person pronounced Calistage's name right.
Yeah, I was like the preacher horse, and I was like, and luckily the accent gave me some play that I could say it, certain ways, but it's like, I had no idea how the fuck to say that.
The problem, it's really, really hard to work out the pronunciation from the spelling, and it's even harder because there's no way to phonetically spell Calistage.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way to, easily spell that. And one thing that always bugs me is when you read those, oh, this is how you pronounce the word. You're like, I don't know what the hell any of these letters mean. It's like, that doesn't help anyone. You have to use words that everyone understands the pronunciation in the context.
And that wasn't even the only difficult word. There was the other one, what? So the fake savior that they came up with was the Dwenanim.
Oh, yeah, that was another one where I did carefully spell it out to myself.
And no one got that either.
Where the hell did you pull those words from? I'm honestly, it surprises me.
Okay, so that came... So Dwenanim actually did come from... I adapted it from somewhere in African mythology, but I cannot even remember where from. Which is not great. I mean, I do pull a lot from African mythology where I can, usually north or west, for a lot of the writing in this. So Amoria's Loins, the tree that eats people and then spreads its poison, and then by summoning them with a song, and then it spreads its poison song to the relatives, is based off of a tree from our culture. It did not sing about a famous singer's vagina, though. That was neat. In artistic flair and also adding in clickbait.
Actually, I think there is a Greek or Roman mythology equivalent where it is that case.
Of course there is, because the Greeks and the Romans were basically fucking...
Yes.
Pretty much.
See, when I need a made-up word, I just smash my keyboard repeatedly until I see a recognizable word come up. I'm like, oh, that'll work. Change it up a bit.
For me,
yeah.
Oh, and since we're still kind of on the episode 3 Terminal Secrets and stuff, for Callie and their family, was it Cardus and Circeum? Those are all the Greek and Latin names of different kinds of thistle plants, different kinds of flowers that have thorns, essentially. So that's why those words are kind of weird.
Oh, never knew that.
Circeum. Fantastic name, and everyone managed to pronounce that right.
Yeah, luckily, because it sounds similar enough to Circe, which is part of the reason I was like, okay, this will be accessible for people. And also, I think Cardus is a character from Mass Effect, so I thought it's familiar enough.
Which once again, I think is why. When it comes to stable names, once again, we've got to go to Terminal Secrets episode 4, because Scratchy wins with naming every single Steel Ranger after a type of dessert or food.
Delicious.
Staying in canon.
Yep. Steel Rangers have best names, easiest to remember.
Exactly.
God.
Oh god, what was that one that little Pip had a crush on? Strawberry something.
Strawberry lemonade.
Strawberry lemonade, which is very good. I always get strawberry lemonade when I go to BJ's.
I just remember the what Strawberry Lemonade taking off her helmet and announcing her name, and Little Pip being like, "Strawberry lemonade sounds delicious." It's like, you're dating someone right now, Pip.
Yeah, she's a whore.
You are in a relationship. That's a blackjack move right there.
Yeah, so that was
Blackjack's also coincidentally a lovely sweet over here in the UK.
Oh, really? What
Yeah.
what's it made of?
Really?
They're licorice chews.
Ah.
They turn your tongue black. They're delicious.
I didn't. Wait. The licorice what?
They're like taffy, licorice flavored taffy.
Okay.
I should stop looking at the Abyss stories.
I know it's a type of poker, and I know you can that it's like a type of thing that mafia gangsters would use to bop each other over the head with, but
Yeah, bopping. That's what they did.
That's what they did. That's what they did. Bop.
It's not just mafia gangsters, though.
Who did it then?
I mean, cops use them too.
Yeah.
Don't
So did NASA scientists in The Simpsons.
Oh, that's right. That was great.
That's
Don't listen to Scratchy. He doesn't trust the cops. He's from Northern Ireland.
Ah.
All right, he's used to
My
British
cops are more
police.
like stormtroopers.
Right.
What is it, like the Third Reich over there?
No, cops are just very troubling.
My local police station is like a fortress.
Damn.
2-story tall steel walls, barbed wire. The average cop car is more similar to a tank than a car.
Nice.
What
Hey,
the
but look,
hell?
the apocalypse comes.
They're
You're good.
not going to let those filthy Republicans take the rest of the island.
Scratchy, are they expecting the IRA to show up?
They are always expecting
Yes.
the
God damn it.
This is after
Do
30
the IRA
years of
ever
sectarian
show up?
violence. It's within the last 2 decades that the Good Friday Accords were signed. So it's like we're really not even a generation out.
Yeah, true. Still.
Heck,
Wait.
I grew up with a strong military presence. I remember seeing the bomb disposal robot more often than anything else when I was a kid.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
I'm young enough. I remember the Troubles episode of Captain Planet in the 90s. They actually made an episode about it.
They did.
No.
I need to look that up.
Episode of the Trouble.
Yeah, I'm not even old enough to remember Captain Planet.
I remember Captain Planet, but I think that episode probably got censored over here.
Fucking Ted Turner. Yeah, no, Captain Planet, when they did the non-environmental episodes, they were always they always went like one level darker than the environmental ones. So they did like an AIDS
did one about
episode, they did a
AIDS,
gang
Oh, God.
violence.
The AIDS episode was fantastic.
What?
They did
Yeah.
an AIDS episode, absolutely.
They did an AIDS episode. Yeah.
Man, TV was not shy back then, apparently.
No,
Yeah.
the
No.
90s were the best point of TV because you could be
Yeah,
super
the 90s were
edgy.
hardcore.
Yeah, you could get away with
Well,
a lot
yeah.
of shit in the 90s. I mean,
Yeah.
look at
It's funny
Ren and
because
Stimpy.
movies-
That's a great go-to
Yeah.
example.
Yeah, Ren,
Though, I
Stimpy,
mean, Part
Beavis and
2 is a
Butthead.
kind of-
There was an entire Spawn cartoon.
South Park, The Simpsons.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
to
like-
be fair, cartoons are now going back into that now, but
Hopefully.
in a different way, because now you've got kids' cartoons that are being made by existential nihilists. So now kids are just being taught that life has no meaning.
They're right.
I'm pretty sure you mean Rick and Morty, right?
No, actually, I was talking about it.
No. You have to have a
I
250
was actually
IQ
talking
to
about
understand
Adventure
Rick and
Time.
Morty.
I was actually talking about Adventure Time. Because-
Oh, Adventure Time.
Adventure Time, yeah.
yeah.
I assume
'Cause I've been
Adventure
re-
Time
I've been-
is like a coma show. Like Jake is just in a coma, and that's the story.
No, I think
funny
the
thing
person.
is that
I
I've been trying
actually
to get
always
into
thought.
Adventure-
Oh, go ahead,
So,
James.
I've been trying to get into Adventure Time again recently, and thing is, I didn't really like it that much when it first got popular, and I've been trying to watch it now as a part of research, but I can appreciate it for where it's clever, but other than that, I'm not really a big fan.
Yeah.
It got a lot less random as the seasons went on. They actually started doing properly well thought out miniseries.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
the person who does Steven Universe took it over.
No.
and
It's
it
still
stopped.
being run by. It's still being run by the original dude, I think.
Yeah, Pemberton Ward, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Pendleton Ward. That was it.
I liked their online series much better. The Bravest Warriors, that had a much more compelling like story.
Bravest Warriors was very good, but it is kind of interesting to see, because essentially the way things are being an adult now is compared to the way things were being adult then are kind of different in a way, or rather, it's kind of like the 90s were. If you like the difference between the 90s, the 2000s, the early 2010s, and where we are now, where we are now is kind of closer to the early 2000s, 90s, where cartoons are back to tackling mature themes, as opposed to 2009, where they were too scared to do much, and the early 2010s, where it was just how random can we be.
Yeah, see, people think of things in decades. I think of things in like 15-year brackets. So it's like the 80s, for instance, that was more like Star Wars basically kicked off the 80s. So we're talking like 77 to 92 is actually where the 80s are. And then when you think of the 90s, you're actually thinking of like early 90s like to early 2000s. So yeah, it's not very exact. I really think it's like stuff like the iPhone. That is what brought in the the internet modern age, and like 2012 when the internet started going down, or YouTube started going downhill.
It's kind of interesting though. So recently I was having a conversation with a bunch of friends who kind of just listing off old cartoons as we do. I think we've done that on the podcast before, but someone pointed out something to me about Courage the Cowardly Dog. Was the time they did they did two social awareness episodes that I recognized one at the time. I didn't recognize the other. So they did one on domestic abuse with this.
They did with the cats.
Yeah, that was it. That was it. And then of course there was the time where they did one on relatives who molested family members.
Oh, with the naughty guy?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
If you get the fact that Courage gets molested in that, they use the metaphor for shave with him being shaved, but essentially,
Courage remember that episode.
Boundaries.
I don't remember that episode.
I remember the episode. The metaphor just went over my head.
I remember the music. So, Courage had really good music, actually. Like in that scene where he's getting shaved, there's this like horrid choir doing the theme of the guy. Na 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 na. That was good stuff.
Yeah. So Sherry, you might not remember that episode, but you might remember this line. Naughty.
Oh!
Yeah, that guy with the big creepy grin and the blonde hair.
Yeah.
Yep.
Na 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 na.
I remember now.
Courage had great music. I actually found the Cats theme, the actual like red cat guy. His theme was kick-ass.
I really enjoyed Cats, but so it was kind of weird. It's kind of weird because that's kind of where I draw the parallel to modern cartoons, because modern cartoons are now starting to tackle. They're being adult, but not in a let's be violent or let's overtly discuss these themes. Let's teach kids about about the shit that adults seem to be grappling with on a philosophical basis. And I'm specifically going out of my way not to talk about Rick and Morty because, I don't have a physics degree, so obviously I can't understand Rick and Morty's deep symbolism.
And part of it, I think, is that kids who grew up with those shows in the 90s are in the studios now. They're the people who are, they're the animators, they're the script guys and everything. So that's part of like not the blowback, but like the transition into this new era of like animation and television.
It's kind of interesting to see.
Finally, it took them long enough.
Yeah, no kidding.
Right.
That was like a dry spell for a good 10 years.
It's kind of interesting to see what some of the other cartoons coming up are going to be like. It's still currently waiting on the green light announcement for Infinity Train, which
is this cartoon from from this one dude who used to write on both Steven Universe. He wrote for Steven Universe at one point, and he wrote for regular show at another point. But he came up with this show essentially about this. It's like this puzzle solving show. Almost.
Yeah, you can watch the first episode online. It's really cleverly done.
It's very, very well written, and it's very funny. I mean, it's basically about a girl stuck on a train with a robot and the king of all corgis.
Yes, I know the corgi. Oh my gosh.
The corgi is absolutely fantastic. The robot
adorable.
that she had, 1-1, which is glad one and sad one, which, yeah, two AI, one overtly stupid and overtly happy, and the other just being so depressing. Like you sort of, one half goes out to check on a monster, and the other half says, "I'll start writing his obituary."
It's almost like that robot from the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy books.
Yes,
I remember
it
that.
actually has such a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy feel to it. It does remind me a lot of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Now that I think about it.
What do you call that robot?
Melvin?
Pardon?
Oh yeah.
What? Something about the robot?
I was just saying, is the robot called Melvin or Marvin or something?
Marvin, that's it. I think
Marvin,
Marvin,
yes,
the melancholy robot, or something like that. I had a friend who read all the Douglas Adams in high school, and she loved. Well, she didn't love the movie, but she was happy to see like the books get more recognition. Essentially, you know how it is. They never love the movie. No, the books are always better. But anyway,
The BBC miniseries wasn't too bad.
people need to realize that when those are situations, you watch the thing first, and then you read the book. That's the only good way of doing this.
Yeah, otherwise the movie is never going to be fun.
Yes.
Well,
Harry Potter movies sucked
Oh,
because I read the
God.
books first.
Harry Potter movies.
Yeah, I did the same as Scratchy did. I
read the
hated
books
the movies.
first, and the movies were terrible.
Well, or rather, kind of the thing I've noticed about the movies is that they left out too much. Like kind of when you like one of my major problems with the fifth movie, for example, is that it is the idea of them. I mean, the book focused so much on Harry being isolated from the rest of the Wizarding world, with the biggest problem being that that's the only place that he felt he had a home, and suddenly that home was being taken from him because he was making all of these claims about Voldemort returning. And the movie just didn't focus on that. It didn't get that across. It was more about him raising his army, and it was kind of like, like that's a cool narrative device. Like, you've got us on board from a narrative perspective. You don't have the emotional connection to the character, though. It's like, oh God, I'm actually being kind of a hypocrite because I was actually criticized for the exact same thing by my screenwriting lecturer recently.
Oh no!
You have us on a sympathetic basis. You don't have us on an empathetic basis.
Oof.
It's the baby on the cliff. Was the example he used. If you write a story where there's a baby walking to the edge of a cliff, your audience is automatically going to be engaged because there's a baby on a cliff. But they're not going to remember that story years later because it's just a baby on a cliff. It's sympathy versus empathy. We don't know anything about the baby. We're not connecting or suffering with the baby.
It's like you care for, not about.
Exactly. So that's I think the major problem with the Harry Potter films is is exactly that. We sympathize with the characters and their plights. We don't empathize with them.
Interesting.
Whereas
I understand it, but I never thought about that in great detail.
The books do a really, really good job of getting that across, but then the books also have time to do that. The fifth book is so massive. If any movie was, if any of the books had to be cut into two parts, it should have been
The Order of the Phoenix.
Yeah, I felt like the movies, the way they split Deathly Hallows, that seemed forced to me. Like, they really could have been just the one movie.
Oh, yeah, no, that really felt like them just stretching it out.
Yes, and unfortunately,
for money.
I think they were the ones that started that trend too of the last book getting split into two. The bastards.
Yeah, like with the
because now every show does that now. Fuck.
Like,
No, I'm not even
Hobbit
thinking
split into
Hobbit, but
three
like,
movies.
what was it? Twilight did that. The damn Hunger Games did that.
Yeah, but come on, Twilight.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I got dragged
Yeah,
to every
that's-
one of those movies, so it hurt me.
Team
Yeah.
Those
Jacob.
films were money grabs anyway.
Yeah, I have to admit, I have actually read the movies.
Read the books.
I mean, I've read
That's
the
impressive.
Yeah.
books. God,
I mean, you could read movies, you just read the screenplay.
Yeah,
yeah,
a lot of
but
people do that
I've-
instead of watching movies. Actually,
Yeah,
I read screenplay.
I meant I've read all the
The
books up until the movies.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I kind of like vampires. I kind of hate that kind of vampire.
well, yeah, because it's not
We
vampire.
all know that werewolves are better.
God damn you, Krellick.
If you
What's
compare-
that Helsing parody?
Which Helsing?
Helsing Abridged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a real.
Yeah. Have you
real
seen the
fuck
shorts
murdering vampire.
with their comment on Twilight?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
That's
Oh,
great.
It's like the very, very first scene with the I love you, Bella. Knock, knock, knock.
Yep.
Who is it? Oh, you know. A real fucking vampire.
Should we go back to our 1-year anniversary recap?
Oh,
Right,
shit.
we're doing that.
Because we've been drifting pretty hard now.
It's the off-topic, non-consensual podcast. The next thing up on our oh wow, I love how we got with the Pantsless podcast episode 7, the Fully Naked podcast episode 8.
Oh
and
yeah, that
Come to
series.
Me.
Oh, by the way,
And then-
I'm blaming you and Skybolt for the CTS podcast idea to be called the non-consensual podcast.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. That started as a joke somewhere, and in like
Yeah.
episode 4, and then we built a whole like podcast series on that.
Yeah.
It was
So the
something
next
like
major-
Nita was upset about, and so we poked a joke at her.
Our next major release was the 9-minute poem that Skybolt wrote for
Ooh,
No, you
Yes.
skipped the Ranger.
Valentine. Did I? Oh shit!
You did,
Whoops, sorry.
yes. Sit the fuck down.
Sit the
Vermont
fuck
is
down.
totally biased.
Yes, no, the Ranger was great because that was one I had. So in with the engineer, I think everyone's heard in the podcast about how that got horribly delayed because I had one VA who she completely dropped the ball, and this is after like 6 months I had cast her, and then she just was like. She just dropped out. She disappeared. And then the old Homage VA from the few lines in The Duchess Horror, she dropped out too. And so I had to spend like another 2 or 3 months getting a new VA on board for both characters. And then our lovely Oakheart began her recording process, which was a meaty process. And of course, she hadn't done anything like that before. So there's a lot of like back and forth, like guiding her through different segments. And so that's why that was a 1.5-year production time. And in the meantime, I actually got around to writing the Ranger and the Ice Mare for the most part. It's like I still had to like top those off, but it was like finally getting Ranger like put to channel was such a godsend for me because it was like after all this development hell with the engineer and then the whole change up of the studio, I'm like, I need to prove that, like, you know, the series can keep going because it felt like almost cursed by that point. There was I had a lot of emotions about the engineer behind the scenes, and I was like, man, I just want to like move to the next one now. And so that's why it was so great to finally get that out. Oh, and then we also lost our main artist. It was the Lee who did a lot of the original artwork. So the last 2 episodes have really been about like just transitioning into new artists and getting new like things defined for it. So like I got like Photoshop the CC, you know, the pay every 10 months so I can have the pen tool and do a lot more artwork on my side as well. So Yeah, that was an interesting episode. I don't know. What did everyone think of that episode, the script story?
I loved it.
I'm actually on the Ranger right now.
Okay. Yeah, I know it's a lot to go through.
Yeah.
It was a personal favorite for me because it's very like it was sort of my New Vegas or like what was it, the freaking Lonesome Road sort of like sort of episode, because it was like that whole like the crevice like canyons thing is very heavily influenced by Lonesome Road, and it's very New Vegas-y in the general sense that it's like a southwestern episode, a very remote military base, and the mines and the trains. Like I love that stuff.
Yeah, I really got the Lonesome Road vibe from it, actually.
Yeah, so I was glad people.
Yeah, I got nightmares from Lonesome Road because that DLC was hard as hell.
That was.
I played it at a low level when I first played it, and it was just, oh my god.
Complain about Lonesome Road when you do it at level 1.
Yeah, that's why I did it at. I did it by complete accident.
Oh, that's killer. Yeah, as soon as you see the diamond like cave crawlers, you're dead. You're done.
Yeah. It's fun to do the DLC at like level 1 though, because
Lonesome Road was very like puzzly too, because it was like it reminded me of BioShock 2, where you're just going like section to section, but it's like you have to figure out whatever the thing is to get through to the next section. So it was very it's a very good DLC in like storytelling terms in that sense, but yeah, it was a weird one.
Yeah, like I did love like Ulysses' character.
Yeah, it was an interesting dynamic that they had with him and the courier.
Yeah, it's a bit awkward if you go there at level 1, but still.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I think that's the only New Vegas DLC I haven't played. Dead Money's my favorite.
Dead Money's
that
fun.
Is so good.
Yeah, it has the best story, I think, out of all of them.
Yeah, I think the Big Empty is my personal favorite.
Oh yeah, that was silly. The whole like half an hour opening with all the scientists is ridiculous.
Also, just the 80s sci-fi vibe I got from it was great.
Yeah, it was more like 50s sci-fi cheesy goodness. Loved it so much. Although the Big Empty was kind of tricky to navigate. Am I the only one who thought that?
Oh no, kinda. I agree. A lot of the weird canyons and crevices.
Yeah, it's easy to get turned around in it.
I have a confession. I use console commands.
Oh no!
I knew it.
Heretic.
Hey, I'm a god.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, like when you tried to use console commands when we played multiplayer Stellaris.
God damn it, Craig!
Seriously.
Yeah.
No,
yeah, I actually did try to do that. I wasn't actually going to use the commands. I just wanted to see if I could get them to work in multiplayer.
No,
but if like in the process I somehow got 10,000 minerals just testing it out, you weren't going to say no, were you?
Console commands are like drugs. They're addictive. Once you start using them, you can't stop.
I've only used console commands once in Fallout. And that was because I got stuck inside of a cliff.
That's why for true hard mode, you play console. Like, actual console. That's the way to do it.
Oh, no.
Yes.
The only time I have ever used console commands is in Fallout 4 when you have to build a settlement.
Yeah.
It always frustrated me so much having to run around and get all the resources just to build a house.
Yeah. I got the mod where... Oh, sorry.
So yeah, I would go into God mode just to build stuff, then go out of it again.
Yeah.
I've used console commands before.
The the Rule Breakers mod that has like all the resources right by Vault 111, and you just
the cheaters den.
Yeah, that's great.
Well,
I've used console commands on Skyrim. Usually, if I just want to fuck with the game.
Nice.
Yeah. It's also cool to do some role playing. Like if you want to have your character with a bit of a pre-build so that it fits your character's backstory.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's kind of what I do, or what I did in New Vegas and Fallout 4. I would like use console commands and give myself. Yeah, I would use console commands and I would give myself some perks, and I would just make up a role play character as I played the game.
But you can't. You've got to role play. I don't know. If I play a role playing game, I'm gonna fucking role play the character, right?
Exactly. You have to develop a backstory for your character, otherwise it loses some of the charm.
Exactly.
That's the fun part, is developing a backstory.
Yeah,
And then
it's always a problem I have with.
It's always fun. My second playthrough of a game is always the most enjoyable because I usually then know the elements of the game a little bit better, enough so that I know, okay, cool, if I'm going to roleplay this character, I know more or less what backstory I want to give him that'll involve the most twists and turns for him on a story level. So it's kind of like the Pillars of Eternity. There's as you play the game, you discover more and more about the nation that you're playing in, and the nation has just recovered from a war with a god who manifested himself in physical form, and the nation won the war by blowing up that god with the magical equivalent of a nuke.
Nice.
So on my second playthrough, it's like, cool, let's play as someone who is a priest of that god, and just the emotional journey is so much better if you can roleplay with something that then connects to the world. Like, what does the priest of a god of redemption do after the god they worshipped stopped being about forgiveness and redemption and started being about warmongering and being blown up?
Is this exalted?
Oh no, it's not exalted, but
Okay.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Sorry, it
You
was
guys talk about exalted in the Discord chat all the time, in the Patreon chat, and I have no idea what the hell that is.
It's
Neither do I.
It's another pen and paper RPG. I've since been recruited, and now I'm trying not to talk about it too much in the Discord chat.
I assume it's a porn thing?
No, it's basically a setting where you can in simplest terms, you're put on that world to kill the creators of the gods.
Jesus Christ.
Yep.
So in the game, you can literally punch a god in the face and get away with it.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Overpowered.
Sounds like God of
Yeah.
War.
Yeah, actually, if you need to compare to anything, God of War is a great comparison.
Nice.
Anyway.
Personally,
Yeah.
I'm currently playing through Fallout 4 as Blackjack.
Oh god, I've done that.
She's got maxed out luck, maxed out charisma, and only 1 intelligence.
I'm actually using the special stats I got from Somber.
Oh, wait, she has proper stats.
Yes.
What are
Never
her
pay
stats?
attention to those. I've just
Actually,
been running around killing everything with a security button.
I
There
don't
you
know off the top of my head.
Are you using the Scratchy? Are you using the mod that lets you look like Blackjack?
No, those
God, no.
Those are so
Yikes.
creepy. Yeah.
Those mods are creepy as fuck.
That's always, whenever I see like normal Fallout fans like deriding Fallout Equestria, it's always a picture of one of those that's like the top.
Yeah.
comment.
Yeah.
It's very
And, like,
unsettling.
And it's like, at that point, it's like, I can see you hating on Fallout Equestria, but if you're using that picture, I understand why you're hating on us. I would hate us too if that was all the...
Yeah, I'd prefer a Fallout mod that actually, ponyfied everything, just character models.
Speaking
Well, I mean,
of
that's
which,
what,
what is Overmare
Over-
Studios up to?
Yeah, what is Overmare Studios up to? I haven't heard from them in a long time.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean, mostly what they're just doing is stuff with the Wasteland Whalers, and to be fair, if they just continue doing Wasteland Whalers stuff, I'll be happy with that, because that's a
Same.
really, really good
Damn good music.
They make
Britney-
fantastic fucking music.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
Brittany Church is awesome.
Yeah, no, her voice is absolutely fantastic. We should steal them. Skyball.
No. I have very, very good reasons that I don't like that. We're not gonna just have the same group of brony, freaking superstars and then just jack them off onto our channel like they do on every other channel. That was one of the initial philosophies of Confessions, is we're going to let normal VAs have a chance. See, the same with singers. Let normal people have a chance to make something of themselves. If we're just buying our way to the top by putting, giant letters, fucking whatever her, yeah, she even gave up on her character name. It's just Brittany Church now.
Well, I mean, that's more or less what I'm doing with Untypical.
Yes.
The only small-ish VA I'm using is Needle Stitch.
Yeah, because there's some big names in Untypical. Like, fuck.
Well, because the problem is that with Fallout Equestria, we're in a position where we're in a good position where we kind of have a monopoly at the moment with regards to audio stories. But with Untypical, in the foray into original audio drama territory, that's a very tough territory, because it's kind of like the original YouTube boom where everyone has suddenly cottoned on to the fact that audio dramas are a great way to make content. So there are now 1,000 of them coming out every month.
Yeah, it's really cutthroat, actually.
It's difficult to get noticed. So it's kind of like Untypical is a kind of a solid balance at the moment between what our different levels of voice actors.
Yeah, and for me, it's just about the artistic expression. That's like when you come up to Come to Me, our sort of Valentine's Day special. It was really just an exercise in, I was like The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe, and I wanted to try my hand at writing some kind of poetry like that. And so that essentially came up to that little story.
Actually, Come to Me still gives me shivers.
Yeah. Come to Me is fun. Let's just have 9 minutes about poetry.
Yeah.
It must be a Skybolt day.
No.
Yeah, it was one of those random one-shots that we had. And that is one nice thing about the channel, is that we'll also just occasionally do something random and one-shotty like that.
Right. Just every now and then, let's just do whatever we want.
Actually, you should always do that, because kind of works out most of the time.
The one-shots are always fun. The reason we don't really do them that much is just putting together a new team from scratch is always difficult, because you've now got to organize a lot more resources. Whereas it's a lot easier to make, say, a new episode of Terminal Secrets, because it's like, okay, cool, all of this voice cast is already chosen. I might have to add 1 or 2 new characters, 3 at a push, and there's also, our audience is acclimated to that. Like, we're more like for example, Confessions is more likely to get. Confessions will get higher views than the Wasteland Survival Guide, for example.
Why am I hearing a cat?
That's Angel. That's my cat. Angel.
I heard a cat. Yeah.
It's my cat, Angel. She's laying on my lap right in front of my laptop.
And of course, the best part of Valentine's Day was
I'm sorry. I just remembered a lot of things from that podcast.
Oh man, that was a great podcast. I lived halfway through, I think. I missed all the Opart stories.
Well, I mean, the whole podcast is almost 4 hours long, so we had a lot of people walking in and out.
Actually, for Mont, your story about the miniature golf course was probably the most memorable.
Oh god, the fucking miniature golf course. I love telling that story so much.
My childhood is ruined.
Exactly. It always ruins people's childhood, because every kid I've ever grown up with, everyone in my generation has gone to that miniature golf course at some point or another, and they've always gone through the one
set of holes that is so iconic, and it's just so funny that I went through a completely different set of holes that day on their.
Oh boy.
Okay. The maturity barrier.
I somehow
had
knew that was
set.
coming.
It was coming.
You make it too obvious. Okay, so then after that was the what else was coming up?
Guyball tried to do damage control.
Yeah.
No, I'm just moving on. What else did we have? I guess that's where more. Or I guess that's essentially where we get into con season, right? Or no, we had the April 1st stuff with traps.
Oh God, traps!
actually,
yes,
yeah.
that was. So back in January, Needle and I were doing a call for. I think we were reading Terminal Secrets lines, and the conversation, and she got into a rant, as many of the EastCorp crew often do, about something. In this case, it was about, and like 3 or 4 rants in, it was kind of like she was warping into her derpy voice, and it was kind of like, I wonder what would happen if we just did an episode where Derpy loses her shit. That was the original title of the episode, was Derpy loses her shit. And we were like, okay, cool. So this is going to be what we do for April 1st. We're going to do Derpy going feral. And what would that sound like? And it's like, fucking, let's do the 2 episodes. One where you just hear from people's perspective with no narration and just her going, which, by the way, is the best thing I've ever had to ask a voice actress to do. It's just make tongue noises.
Yeah. Actually, it sounded like Needle Stitch had a lot of fucking fun with that one.
Oh my God, everyone did. Some of the background voices you can hear there that Sky mixed in are just fantastic, with people being like, oh shit, did Derpy go feral? Yeah, Derpy went feral. Oh,
yeah,
God. Oh, no.
I remember I asked for the package because a lot of people were asked to do background voices, but only a few did. So I'm like, okay, time to spread these out a little bit, sprinkle them.
My favorite is someone did a Calamity voice where it was like, oh, like the one time I take a vacation.
Oh, that was me. That was the DJ Pony.
Was
like the one
you?
time he gets out of the studio, it was like, damn it, the 1 week I take a vacation. Yeah, that was fun.
That was, yeah.
Yeah, and then getting to do the sound design for blowing her fucking head off. That was fun too.
So that was the trap was good. And of course, immediately after that, we had our record longest running podcast, which was 4 hours and 10 minutes long.
I still don't even remember what we talked about in that. I'm like, how the hell did that get to 4 hours?
We discussed everything.
Yeah, that's one of the podcasts I didn't go back and listen to again. I was like, this is too long.
Well, the funny thing is I do remember us getting to 4 hours, and I remember us saying, hey, when our anniversary comes around, we should do 24 hours.
Oh my gosh.
And
yeah, no.
Guess what, guys? It's our anniversary, and we're not doing a 24-hour podcast.
Yeah, that is not this podcast, by the way. Do not expect that.
God damn it.
Yeah. I do not have
almost 2 hours in.
I remember as a kid, I used to listen. There was a local radio DJ that once a year they'd do like a charity drive where they would broadcast for 27 straight hours because it would be over the time change. And I'd listen to maybe 8 hours of that as a fan, and even then it was like, all right, that's enough. It's too much. How do you fill all that time?
How do you? Yeah, exactly. There's just so much stuff that you can talk about in 24 hours. I mean, you'd have to take it in shifts, essentially.
And have a lot of, like, sort of guests to bring on and do little bits and segments.
Yeah. You get your guests, you probably plan out a few segments. You have the Americans on one section, you have the English on the other section.
Yeah.
So it'd be like you and Needle during your 12 hours, and then Okard, Kelly, and I do another 12 hours. And then we have overlapping every now here and there. Like, it's possible, but it would take that, like, that kind of thing takes a lot of planning. And if we did it, we'd probably, like,
we'd probably attach it to a fundraiser, like if we were to kickstart a project, or if we wanted to push our Patreon, like, you know, if we reach like,
and to be honest, we'd have to be big enough where we'd have a decent audience for all of it too, to be like messaging us questions and whatnot. So
yeah, it's definitely a thing I'm interested in us doing in the future, because it sounds like a really fun challenge.
Oh my god.
Like, it's also cool because it would push us as content creators and as artists to be entertaining for such a long period of time. Because that's one of the things that you kind of, if you think about a podcast, what it essentially is we are sitting here doing our best to be entertaining for 2 hours, which is difficult in its own right. But very enjoyable.
You could pull Somber in again and just go over Project Horizons chapter by chapter.
That'll take 2 days.
Yeah.
Or we could do a live reading of 1 or 2 scripts. That would take 24 hours.
Oh my god, right? So I haven't actually... I'm still busy editing this. This was last Saturday. In honor of our birthday, at some point next week, I'll be releasing the Stable Tech Survivors, which is Scratchy, Skybolt, and myself reading the very first script I wrote for Stable Tech, which was the episode where Little Pip first takes party time Mintails and meets the Alicorn and Velvet Remedy in Old Appaloosa.
Yeah, I was wondering when you were going to release that. I'm looking forward to that.
I'm still busy doing the editing now, because the read-through lasted about 3 hours, and this is an 18-page script. So an 18-page script that's 19 minutes. Like, you usually do like a page a minute with animation. Well, a minute per page. And it took us 3 hours to get through, between the tangents we went on, the many silly voices, the arguing about characters, the deciding which characters needed to have which accents. It's fucking hilarious. I won't go and spoil all the itty-bitty details, but you guys are going to have a lot of fun once it comes out. And if we ever needed to do a 24-hour podcast, pulling out Stable Tech scripts would be a good way to spend the time.
I agree. Absolutely. And then the next section was, besides the con stuff, was also our podcast where we obsessed about Samurai Jack.
Actually, Tsunami did a Samurai Jack marathon last night.
I just got the Blu-ray. I'm dying to watch it, but I actually shotgunned all of Stranger Things last night, so I'm waiting.
The Samurai Jack podcast, because as always, like, the podcasts kind of take on a theme with us. The first set of podcasts that was when Westworld was out.
Oh, so yeah, that's right.
We had the Westworld and Westworld podcast, and we were essentially just going through that. And then, of course, just for those 10 weeks where Samurai Jack was coming out, which was basically 90% of it was Skybolt and I talking about the show.
I think someone is dying on mic. What the hell's going on?
Is someone using a table saw?
That's what I thought.
He's snorting cocaine.
Yeah.
Oh, you're snorting cocaine off your microphone.
Yeah, whatever that is, please mute it. Jesus, that got loud.
Yeah.
That reminds me of when I jokingly licked a microphone on live somewhere.
Jesus Christ.
Just to be weird.
Just to be weird.
Did it work?
Yes, it worked.
Cool. Can imagine it did.
Yeah. And so then, so that ended a season of sort of
fantastic Samurai Jack.
Yeah. Then after that, it was sort of a small doldrum because I was moving. So then there was like a month where I really couldn't do much of anything. That sucked.
Oh yes, of course. That was
that's like May and early in June.
Was that when you did the Takeover podcast?
No, that was last month. That was another thing.
The British the British Invasion podcast.
No, that was during the Samurai Jack era.
That
was when we first started doing live streaming.
Oh, and then we had our we had our first announcement of Terminal Secrets Episode 4, and the first reveal of us having the wonderful Scribbler voicing a character, which was just too fantastic. Which that trailer essentially spawned out of. She had literally just sent me the first set of her lines, maybe a half an hour earlier.
There you go.
And I was like, okay, cool. This is absolutely fucking fantastic. I have only one course of action to me. I'm just going to release a clip of this set to music. Like, let's just... Which, to be fair, was a great trailer. Sorry. Okay. So then the Confessions of a Wasteland Pony. That's the episode 7 auditions. That's what happened next.
Oh yeah. I still have those like 4 or 5 auditions that got sent in, but episode 7 got kind of stalled for various reasons. So it's like I'll still go through them when I get the chance and get that like back up and running.
Okay, what did we have next? Kind of just ran our usual gambit for a while, actually. There we go. Iceman. 2 months ago, about to hit 2,000 views. Our longest video to date, which, to be fair, the Iceman only beat the Did We Discuss Everything podcast by 20 minutes, so you got to step up your game.
That's true.
You got to step up your game.
Yeah, I doubt we'll have podcasts that long again, but no, it was that was another long time coming production. But luckily, overall, the production wasn't nearly as like screwed up as the engineer or anything like that. So it was much more straightforward to get it done.
Which, I mean, so to be fair, it does sort of. I always find it really funny if you look at the differences in production difficulty between Terminal Secrets and Confessions, because arguably the writing of Confessions is probably quite a fair bit tougher than Terminal Secrets because of the length. But the editing and getting the voice actors to cooperate for Terminal Secrets is likely to be a fair bit tougher than Confessions because Terminal Secrets runs with a cast twice the size with 3 times as many characters, and our voice actors aren't quite as reliable as all the VAs.
Yeah, no. For every voice actor you add, you just add a whole bunch of variables, and that's one reason the Ice Mare was tricky, was because it was trying to bring back all these VAs, and then again, 2 of them ended up dropping out anyway, so we had to recast them. So that's yeah, no, the episode 7's gonna go back down to just 2 or 3 because that's too many people to deal with. It's just waiting for lines or trying to get people or retakes. It's like, that's the other thing. The Ice Mare was delayed like 3 weeks because of one sentence that I was waiting on, and it just killed me because I couldn't edit around it. It was like an essential story thing. So, damn.
Yeah, I would imagine Terminal Secrets also has more dialogue, like back and forth between it, than Confessions, which would probably make it harder.
It depends on the section, because, I mean, Confessions is one big dialogue between DJ Pony and the other characters, so some bits are back and forthy, but in general, it's, strung prose.
I think, yeah, oh shit, after that we come to the last episode of the Wasteland Survival Guide that we uploaded, which was Energy Weapons, a month ago.
Yeah, it's been a while.
To be fair, we do have a new episode coming out on Halloween.
Yeah, we could probably say that.
We won't go into detail because we like our surprises, but Skybot cooked up a cracker, as always.
Nice.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun. Yeah, and then we come to Terminal Secrets 4, which we've been talking about. So,
Oh yeah, I mean it's pretty impossible to get me to shut up about Terminal Secrets 4.
Oh man, I loved it.
Yeah, that one was really awesome.
I gotta say, my favorite scene was with that one ghoul, the one who was talking. I forget his name. When she had to kill him, yeah. When she had to kill him in the end, I was just that. That was the most memorable moment for me. That was ridiculously.
Yeah. Dusty Cat also really brought that to life.
Yeah.
Oh god, yes. Kelly's audio editing on that was just.
Oh no, I wish Kelly was here because that audio editing literally made me feel sick.
Oh god.
His audio editing,
Yeah.
He stepped it up in this episode. With regards to the sound production. I mean, especially if you wear headphones.
Yeah.
So you can really appreciate the Dr. Fractal stuff. So the audio production of this episode started just after I had finished playing. I hadn't completely finished it, but I'd been playing Senator's Sacrifice, which quite famously now has made use of the binaural sound with the multiple voices of the protagonist's insane mind, sort of speaking through the different, speaking through your left and right ears, and having some panning from left to right. So that was essentially went to Kelly and was like, okay, cool. So this game did this really cool thing with its sound. Can we do this here? And Kelly was like, cracks knuckles. Let's do this.
I'm still always shocked that word became a thing. It's just stereo. It's something that's existed like fucking 70 years. I don't understand why that's like revolutionary now.
No, it's not that it's revolutionary. It's just the fact that the thing, like, so stereo is a very obvious and easy tool to use. What I appreciated so much about that game and why it works so well in this is the fact that despite this tool existing, people don't use it to its full effect. I mean, audio editing is so often left. It's kind of just this very forgotten art. It's this thing that you have because you need to have it. Which, like, good, solid sound design is like this thing that that the high industry has just forgotten about.
Yeah, it's like we're in the days of like 22.2 where you can have like 22 speakers and 2 subwoofers and people still essentially make mono productions. And it's like, to some extent, it works in this day and age because like if you're in the office or in the car and can only have 1 speaker going, that's one thing. But at the same time, people have their home sound systems. You know, I've had a 5.1 for years and it's like, still we have like this really remedial like sound design in a lot of places.
Mm-hmm. So it was really, really nice to play with that, and we're taking it to the next level with the next episode of Terminal Secrets, because episode 4 was kind of Dr. Fractal's role in episode 4 was very introductory. It's so that you as the audience know his backstory as a villain, and it's your okay, cool. This is our villain. This is the series villain has now arrived. He's not going to be like Dr. Needle or Callous Stage where they get beaten in an episode. Cool. Then episode 5, he takes a much more forward appearance, and because there's so much more of him in episodes 5 and 6, it's been really, really fun to sort of. So Skybolt's done a fantastic job with him there.
It's gonna be really
fun. Right? And I really want to once the episode comes out, I want to screenshot or scan in my written notes for the episode, because I've taken Skybolt's script and I've just been adding annotations to it. Most of the annotations are based around Dr. Fractal and Stella and things they say, and it's kind of notes for Kelly on cool. On what I want you to do with this word or this sentence or this phrase or this section of 3 words. A lot of emphasis on singular words. So Kelly's going to want to kill me. I mean, the audio side alone is likely going to be It's going to be a...
It's really
3-month
involved.
process.
After hearing like the episode 4 sound design, I'm like, okay, we're gonna have some more fun outdoor scenes.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's just going to get more and more complicated. In episode 6, obviously I can't go into details, and I really want to. No one is going to see what we're doing for episode 6. Like, you're not going to expect it. I've told Kelly and I've told Scratchy.
I'm super curious, by the way.
It's insane. Honestly, it really, really is. What we have in mind. The audio team lost their shit when they found out what we're doing.
Nice.
It's just our send-off to Terminal Secrets and our final story will be so well worth the wait. I can't wait to see all your reactions to it. And it will be happening next year. It's really weird to see us at the end of Terminal Secrets. We're getting there. It's really, really cool.
It almost feels like the end of an era.
Yeah, that's what drew me into this.
Yeah.
I do got to make one comment about episode 4, though.
What?
I feel really bad for anyone in that military stable because the way promotions work are there has to be a slot open for that rank, right? So they can't have like a first sergeant. They can't just promote someone to first sergeant without the need for a first sergeant. So there's people in there that were privates when the stable closed, and they're still privates now years later because slots have been opened up.
Yeah.
That's
Scratchy wrote all the segments for all those parts directed to him.
Yeah, like
You've doomed the private Scratchy to eternal privatedom.
Yep.
Honestly, they probably not care because not becoming officers means they can still come to poker night.
That is true.
Very true, yeah.
But I mean, come on! I don't want to sit as a private forever. At least get me up to the sergeant or something.
they just gotta wait for people to die.
Mint rose from cadet to corporal. So
Yeah, like I don't know how
off
that
screen
happened.
there were a lot of
deaths.
I mean, he was a lance corporal, but yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say what like military rank system did you go off of? Because it sounds sort of Marine to me.
British Army.
British Army, okay.
Yeah, British Army.
Yeah, it had to be British Army. They lived in Britain.
That's true. Yeah.
So I have my own headcanon on how she got promoted like that. It involves a really, really awkward firearms incident where the fusion core of a laser rifle just blew up.
We seem to have a rabble-rouser in the comments section saying, ask James about how he used to hate MLP and insult me for watching it.
Okay, so that over there is Christian. The Christian is my oldest friend.
Yeah, I think it's...
And I'd like dating back to when we were 6.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. So he's here just to cause shit for me.
Isn't he the guy in the video where you're being a hardened criminal?
No, that's not him. That's Ian.
Ian, yeah. Sorry, I thought it was Christian.
Yeah, no. That's Christian is this guy in the comments section. And so yes, no, he actually introduced me to My Little Pony because he used to watch MLP, and he was also he simultaneously watched MLP and Doctor Who, and I simultaneously hated both of those shows.
Look how long you've fallen.
Right, and then it's the so I used to make a lot of fun of him for that, and then it was kind of like, hey Christian, just show me an episode of MLP, show me an episode of Doctor Who, I'll see if I enjoy it. And then it was like, fuck, I'm hooked. This is problematic.
Yeah. Did he show you like the season 1 pilot or?
No, see the thing. Wait, for which show?
MLP.
He showed me. Yeah, so he showed me the first 2 episodes of MLP, and he showed me the beginning of the Matt Smith era for Doctor Who, because I originally started Chris Eccleston when I was younger. And I don't know, like 13-year-old James didn't
really jive with Eccleston.
Yeah, that's.
So I kind of just assumed the whole show was like that and stopped watching. I didn't realize that the Doctor regenerated and that they moved on to Tennant and Matt Smith.
Tennant era is really easy to get into.
Right, Tennant era is absolutely fantastic, but I'd say that Matt Smith is easier for completely new fans of the series.
True. Then I was a fan of David Tennant before Doctor Who, so that helped.
Because the David Tennant stuff, the David Tennant stuff sort of sticks to its very, very hardcore sci-fi roots, and it feels a bit more. It feels a bit more complex than the Matt Smith stuff, even though the Matt Smith stuff is more convoluted in how it's written, which is very, very weird. I'm a fan. I'm equally a fan of both, and I have fallen very far to the point to my original dislike of both of those shows. Considering that, yes, Christian does have baby pictures of me. We used to bath together when we were like.
Oh
6.
God.
Yeah. It was.
I am saying silence. I am not going to give you a reason to call me my nickname. I am not.
That comment though, so. Oh God. No, Christian, no.
Christian, I was purposely not saying it.
Oh, damn it.
What? I broke from aunt.
Happy birthday to us.
He's gone to deranged singing.
I guess another way that we bring this back to the anniversary is now we've released the 4th annual Gilded Age song, which is which again, we talked about how the origins of it and the Brave New World getting kicked off the channel. So it's really funny that this sort of became what I wanted the Christmas specials to be. Like when Tyler and I first came out with the Nuclear Winter Wonderland, that was our biggest thing ever on the Stable Tech channel, even though Tyler kind of fudged up, only half the song, and he fudged up.
It's still the biggest thing on the Stable Tech channel.
I was saying, that was you guys. You're right.
Yeah.
That was the one video I remember from that.
Yeah, that was all essentially Tyler and I, and then wrangling the other VAs to get their, get their parts in, which they only did somewhat. I had to do a lot of heavy editing, like. On my Skybowl channel, you can see the video this last Christmas. I posted the full audio, specials of both of them back to back, and you can see where I had to get a little bit creative with getting their parts together for the singing. So so that I wanted to draw back on. So then in the when I thought we would be doing annual specials, the Jingle Bell Rock, I made it so just Nick. I Am Shadow and I were doing the singing, and then they just did the voice acting, and then Tyler didn't even animate any of that, so that completely fell off the rails. So then I was like, okay, the only annual specials we're doing now are, Fallout Day, sounds like.
The Fallout Day specials have been great, though, because we were talking about them a little bit at the beginning of the podcast, and I was waxing on how Gilded Age is far better than Get Happy, which is impressive because Get Happy is still in my mind stronger than Dashite and Set Me Free. I mean, both of those are great, but Get Happy is you can't see it right now, but I'm making the I'm making that pretty good expression with my fingers. It's kind of like the sideways version of the Italian handshake. No. I messed the meme up.
Oh, yeah.
I messed up memes at once. Never mind.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I lost track of what you were talking about.
Let's skip on. Let's just skip forward.
No, every one of them was a little bit different. Like the original one it just started with I saw that house episode because I was finishing going through that whole series, and I'm like, I loved that. It was such a great random little piece of musical theater, because of course Hugh Laurie, the guy who plays House, is very musical, and he's got his own like sort of blues band and all this stuff. But I was so blown away by how fun that was, and I'm like, this could easily be ported over to Fallout Equestria. And I shopped the idea and was able to get that finished in time, which essentially after Brave New World and every story got sort of like shit canned, I was like, I had it was like the rage momentum. I'm like, okay, I'm going to prove them that this could be fucking awesome. And I worked with Tyler to get that done. And then actually the next year I was moving. I moved across the country like days after the Fallout days. So the Set Me Free had been written like most of in 2014. And essentially I was just like, we got the last bits of it together and pulled the trigger and got that out there. So it was a little bit supplemental in the way that one came out. And then, of course, Dashite Song was another one where a lot of the production had begun earlier. Like, that was an idea I first started, again, probably back in, like, 2014. And then it was just like, okay, we have to do this. It's like an annual thing now. So got it through to the end and worked with Kelly to get the drums and stuff. And then we finally had enough with Stapletech, and we're like, all right, we're getting the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I find it really, really funny that as we released Dashite's Song, we decided to leave Stapletech. It's kind of like, fuck, if only we'd thought to leave a week earlier.
Yeah, that could have been a great way to kick off the new channel.
Yeah.
It's also very what is it? Poetically dramatic because of what the Dashites were and like leaving the Pegasus Enclave. It's like, yeah,
it's all metaphorical.
Yeah.
No, that is actually kind of a good point when you think about it. We made a song about them leaving the Enclave, and then we left our equivalent of the Enclave, and then we watched our equivalent of the Enclave crash and burn on April Fool's Day.
Wait, I think the metaphor stopped there for a second.
It's because they were.
They did, though. They did. I can't get over that. They died on April Fool's Day.
No, they died, like, pretty much as soon as we left. They just forgot to tell anyone, and then for months, I remember in, like, February, we're like, are they going to post any videos? Because we had, like, 30 more videos by that point. And then we heard through the grapevine, like, oh, yeah, they're preparing some kind of, like, last goodbye hurrah animation. And then when they finally released the episode, it's like, okay, that animation amounted to what? The sound, like, the audio pulsing for when they're talking behind the Stapletech logo? It's like the dumbest fucking thing. Are you kidding me? God.
Did they key every single, like, fucking second of that?
Yeah, I'm like, is that really what they put the effort into? Because that was pointless and dumb, and no one paid attention to it. So,
I don't know.
Yeah.
It was... I think they were trying to get hold of all the different assets, but they didn't even manage to get hold of all the assets because, I never went and took a look, but Kramak downloaded the asset package, and apparently all the fucking scripts were missing.
Yes, no, there's only the episode 1 script. Like, all the asset dump was pathetic. It's, like, barely anything, and most of it was, like, my own stuff that you could just get from the album and stuff.
Yeah, I was kind of disappointed.
Yeah, me too.
I was expecting them to release what of the puppets that we had. I mean, they were puppets. They were multiple completed puppets. It was just that fucking Malicorn was too stuck up to use them.
Is that what it came down to? I don't even know. Like, I gave up talking to the art people in, like, 2014.
I heard a dozen different stories about the puppets. The one thing that was clear was that there were 2 points where the puppets were completed. At one point, JD went out and paid an animator to make fucking puppets. Apparently, they weren't very good, but they were still working puppets. And then there was the other time where they completed the puppets, and they were very, very good puppets. I think they were something like you could view them from 16 different angles, which was more intricate than even My Little Pony the show had. But the only problem was that the puppets were now too complex for our animators to use.
My God.
And so they had to be canned.
And you know what kills me too? It's like the first episode, there's not a lot of complicated running or anything. It's like all you have to do is just, you know, you can almost just like, just frame by frame, just to get one episode out there so then we could pick up a new stream of momentum for the rest of it. But no, they couldn't even do that. Fall through on one episode.
Yeah. What was the idea of episode 1? Like, from the beginning to the exiting the stable bit?
Yes, and it was like so. I mean, I think that my original crappy demos in there too, where I had the reverb way too high on everything. But it was like I was trying to make it cinematic, so at least people could hear something completed. And again, no actual like effort into like, okay, let's follow through now that like all the audio is done. And I was like, you know, I had it all set up. There's this great animation package, which is like half of the art dump is just this thing that I got together right after that Everfree Northwest, where I split up all the audio by scene. So it's like, if they want to parse it out to animators, they could easily do it and they could paste it out and then bring it all together. It's like, I did everything I could for them, and most of them didn't even know like it existed, even though I kept dropping it in chat rooms. It's like it's like, I don't know, controlled like denial or something.
It's probably also kind of a bit of embarrassment that it was like the audio for everything, or
yeah, it was everything for the first episode. It was the music, it was the sound effects for like each scene, and the voices that were like, I think I had a treated voice set and then an untreated. So it's either raw audio or with compression and reverb and EQing. So it was just insane. Like, I put like 2 weeks of work into it over July 4th weekend, right after a convention, and yeah, they didn't do shit all with it.
That is such a waste.
Yeah.
That is hard.
Yeah, there was a lot, and I mean, just the unorganization of the visual departments. I mean, the concept art, the storyboarding, the animation. It's like there was no real driving leader. So then a bunch of people would do just random offshoot bits, but then none of it got brought together. None of it was like clearly directed together. And you know, as much as they hated how much I was very, I guess forceful is the right word. I did everything I could to like influence the art department too in 2014, but they just like, no, they just kept stripping power from me until it was like, all right, I'm going to sit over here and just write my confession stories then. Fuck you guys.
I think Fallout Equestria has like a curse on it to where it can never be fully animated ever.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, it's also with written stories. A lot of them never get finished.
Yeah, it's like, especially some of the big ones on like film fiction and whatnot, because there's 1,000 side stories now.
Like that's why I'm finishing mine before I'm even publishing the first chapter.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Absolutely.
That's a good philosophy. I mean, honestly, if I was to do it from scratch, I would have made the entirety of Terminal Secrets in one go, and then released it. And then released it like that. The only reason I'm not doing that with Untypical is because we honestly can't afford to produce an entire season in one go. It would be too expensive. So we're doing. But I mean that's always been one of my biggest suggestions. Every time I go into the audio drama subreddit. Every now and then you see people who, newcomers to audio drama, who will post up and be like, "Does anyone have advice?" And usually the advice is create your entire project, like do everything on it, make it so that every single episode of your project is ready to release, and then release it every week going forward. Because, as Christian is also saying in the comment section, artists lose steam and you lose interest on projects. So do the whole fucking thing at once, put it together, while you still have the interest, and then just release it weekly.
Go ahead.
No, it's fine. It would have just been more rambling on the same point.
Yeah, I actually made that mistake when releasing the Change That Bind Us, because I was really excited to release it, and I haven't updated in like 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
which is, I rag on the Abyss for not updating his stories, and then I did the same thing.
Yep.
I just updated my chapter 3 today after about 3 months.
Yeah, of course. That's
saw
loyal
that.
to you, right?
Say what, Vermont?
That's loyalty, right? That's what your story is called.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, that takes me
Yeah,
back.
no.
Very old brony music.
Ooh, yeah.
Right?
God, I still play that while writing.
Yeah, every once in a while, like around con season, I bring out like the old playlist from like 2012 and 13. Man, that's back in the day now. Holy cow!
Right. I've still got some of that old school,
Like old
Pony music.
Tombstone stuff and old Aviators. Man.
Fucking right. Fucking some Eurobeat brony. Every now and then I go and go play the original version of.
It was a more innocent time.
What was of Pinky's Brew was fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, yes.
With the I'm gonna bake the fourth wall, eat it, and save my parents. What the fuck was that?
Random.
Don't even. That was one of the weirdest songs, but it worked really, really nice. The
Go. Sorry, I said 6 months. I'm at 8 months now. Good God, I feel terrible.
Use that shame as motivation. I think that's how it works.
Yeah, essentially. That's what's keeping
Yeah.
me on track to make confessions. Because I'm going to finish the damn series, no matter how long it takes.
It's probably just this massive fucking novel-sized commission getting in the way.
Oh yeah, that would do it. Yeah, that's the thing. Real life, it's like you still have normal stuff to do, so you don't have
Yeah.
free time to actually get projects done.
I have to pay the bills, so I have to do that commission.
Yeah.
yeah, I've kind of got to focus on not failing university, especially since I missed like 4 weeks.
Oof.
Yikes.
So, and I mean, right now for my my final for the animation I've got in mind. I mean, I've essentially got to make I've built 2 buildings and a plane so far. I need to build 2 more buildings and then use the 4 buildings to make an entire city. And then after that, I have to go and build a stadium with a racetrack in all 3D modeling. And I have another 3 weeks left to do all that. Yeah, that's going to be fun. And I have a total of 3 days to animate to do all the animating, which, yeah. And no, Reinhard, reindeer, Christ, I have not been fees must falling. The thing is, I'm at a private university, so it's not affected by government at all, which means that it's unfortunately twice the price. And if you complain about the fees, they just tell you to piss off. It's really, really annoying.
Yeah,
actually.
That's kind of the arts, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Because art is one of those things, it's like, it is good for society in general, but it's like, it's very hard to justify state funding for it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Especially when you look back in time and a lot of major art didn't really come from, university. It's like the Beatles got a degree in pop music in Liverpool. It's kind of thing,
What?
Most great. It's unfortunate it's not really a great motivation for film students when you realize that most great filmmakers dropped out of film school.
Well, and the other thing is, it's really like clicks. So it's like in the Hollywood scene, for instance, like you'll see a lot of people who went to like USC Film School or like Cal Arts for animation, but it's like it's not the fact that they went to the school that gets them the job. It's the fact that they met people who are working in industry. So you're like, hey, alumni, Cal Arts. So it's just the nepotism. It's buying good prestige and buying friends.
Oh yeah, 100%. I got my start in the film industry because of the I got my start in the industry because the director of a reality show was old friends with my dad.
She kept me around because I worked my ass off, but I got my start in it because of nepotism.
Yeah,
But
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
kind of
how do you think I even got
that's
my
kind
job?
Is look, it's kind of I think it's the right kind of nepotism. The kind of person on the other hand is still going to get rid of you if you're not doing your job properly.
Yeah.
Also, Splee, I thought you joined the military and that's how you got your job.
I meant my my active duty orders where I do it full time. Yeah, no. Also, the military with my dad helped me there, but especially because my recruiter was utter trash. But yeah, I was talking about the active duty stuff.
Yeah, I'm actually not sure how that works in the military because over here it's a lot different.
Yeah,
Like
just apply your butt off is what you do.
I could just go here and be like, yeah, I'd like to be an engineer, please, like an electrical engineer, because I already have the degree for it.
Yeah, there you go.
I do nothing with it because fuck that job.
Yeah.
Righty then. How are we doing on time, by the way?
It's about 2.5 hours. 2:40.
Yeah.
2.5 hours. That's actually not quite bad. Since I think, no, I don't. It's going to be a while before we. Oh wait, no. The thing under the EastCorp logo says we've been streaming for 3 hours.
We've been. I'm seeing 2:40:12 right now.
Yeah.
Okay. It must be YouTube's analytics system being an asshole again.
The thing under the EastCorp thing rounds up.
Yeah, it rounds a lot.
It rounds half an hour up.
It's very, very stupid.
Really? You would think it would just do the half hour.
Nope.
Too much work, I think.
That's what we call shit web design.
That is indeed what we call shit web. Well, I mean, most of the things on YouTube are what we call shit web design. But I've been looking at all the other video streaming sites, and you know what the thing is? YouTube's the least shitty.
Yeah, that is the problem. So even though YouTube keeps making itself worse, it still has the best, like, essential building blocks for a video hosting site, which is why it remains popular.
Yeah, it's actually because most of the people with actual proper hands-on experience work for YouTube or Google.
Like, I've kind of been taking a look at all the different sites. The user interfaces and designs are primarily the things that turn me off. And the fact that they turn me off means that chances are they're going to turn off a lot of other potential viewers. Whereas when you go on YouTube, it looks nice. It looks pretty. And when you're looking for online content, you type in YouTube. The audio drama fan base is now they're migrating through iTunes and SoundCloud and Stitcher. The major problem with that being is that most of those sites charge premiums if you have, like, they'll give you 2 hours worth of content free, and then afterwards you have to pay a monthly fee to get an unlimited supply. The problem with EastCorp is that, we have a single episode of Confessions is between 3 and 4 hours long now. That's for a single episode, not even for the whole series. The Wasteland Survival Guide in its entirety is now over 2 hours long. So which is a major reason why we haven't started working through those platforms at the moment. It's just we don't have the space.
Yeah, so it's interesting. It's mostly just a way to get it out there too, because a lot of it is at least the big stuff we have hosted on, for downloads and stuff too. So it's really just it's because YouTube is the biggest space that people look for that stuff, and then of course we share it on Facebook and Twitter as well. So it's just about getting the actual information out there. Then people can find us other places.
Right.
Have you tried billboards?
Never even heard of that. I know of Billboard, like the music, like top 10 list people or top.
No, I
200.
meant like actual physical billboards.
Oh,
Like on roads.
No.
I was making a joke, just whoosh.
Sorry.
I mean, yeah, let's totally advertise our Fallout ponies on actual billboards. I can see that going down so well.
At $10,000 a month.
You
At
could
that
take.
point,
God.
that point, Bethesda and Hasbro might realize we exist.
Well, it's like we
yeah.
probably wouldn't even get it up there because if we submitted it to Clear Channel or CBS or whoever actually owns the big fucking sign, they would just stop us there on copyright grounds. It's a much slower system where they would actually look into copyright and be like, wait, who's this? Because, of course, these are networks that own all this shit,
Yeah.
so they're much more insulated than YouTube, which YouTube got big because of copyright infringement. That's one thing that they can't ever hide from is the fact that everyone went to YouTube to watch the Janet Jackson tit slip video from the Super Bowl. That was the first major jump in the market, and then a lot of people were uploading illegal stuff up until like 2009 when they finally had like $1 billion class action lawsuit. Then they had to start building the robots to police stuff. But it's like,
Yeah,
2000,
that's when DM
2007 through 12, that was the golden age of YouTube.
Yeah. Actually, Vermont, untypical on a billboard could work. It's original content.
That's completely original content. That is very true.
That would be a
But then there's
gigantic
still-
waste of money, though.
Yes, it would.
Advertising an audio drama might be problematic. Like, I mean, they wouldn't even. You wouldn't even see billboard advertising for things like Night Vale or Wolf 359. Those are the two biggest audio drama series in the world.
I've never even heard of that Wolf one.
Oh, Wolf 359 is absolutely fantastic. It's basically an audio drama version of Red Dwarf, actually, but with a few more thriller elements added to it. Essentially just crew members looking for signs of alien life on a space station orbiting a dying red dwarf.
Interesting.
And it's just these three. It's the science officer, communications officer, a malfunctioning, glitchy artificial intelligence, and the super military obsessed captain. And they're all trying to pass the time. So you sort of get like to day 500, like the second episode, and the communications officer steals the last roll of toothpaste, and it turns into a hostage crisis.
Nice.
What?
because no one wants to spend the next 200 days without toothpaste. So it's like the most serious thing to them at the moment is are they willing to kill him to get the toothpaste?
That's really funny,
Cut that.
actually.
Yeah.
Even if you do, it's just one roll of toothpaste.
Well, so, I mean, the science officer reckons he can synthesize a fake toothpaste out of it, but the problem is he also thought he could synthesize fake coffee, and it just ended up being a weird seaweed blend.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
That sounds awful.
So, like the communications officer's thing is kind of like, I think I'd rather just die and keep the toothpaste than have to brush my teeth every day with seaweed.
Yeah, I just not brush my teeth then. That sounds horrible.
Yeah.
Or it's like the little small details, like the fact that they can't smoke cigarettes without setting the air on fire, so they just walk around with unsmoked cigarettes in their mouths and suck on the nicotine.
Yeah, that's one way to do it.
Yeah. Actually,
Man, okay, I gotta find this audio drama now. It sounds great.
yeah, same. Actually,
I'll link it into the thing. No, it's like I say, it's next to Welcome to Night Vale. It's probably the biggest audio drama in the world.
yeah.
How long is it?
It's 55 episodes at the moment, and they're busy. They're just about to release their final season.
Yeah, actually, outside of the Bright sessions,
Oh, and then of course there's the Bright sessions. Which,
yes. But outside of that, I've only really listened to the Warhammer 40k audio dramas, of which there are a lot.
Of course.
but you need to know the setting. Because a lot of those are like, they jump right into it.
The Imperium of Man is a stain on the galaxy.
Don't start, Kralik. Don't start. This is not a Warhammer podcast.
Yeah, no, I don't know enough to talk about that.
Yeah, unfortunately, the only thing I know about Warhammer is from what I've played from the Total War games.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, no, I mean the sci-fi version of it.
Oh, 40k. Yeah, no, I know nothing about 40k.
There's some dwarves in it, I think. That's about it.
Actually, no, the dwarves in space joke got retconned.
Oh, did it?
Like, so biker dwarves in space was the pitch. And it got retconned.
All right, then I know nothing.
Sorry, I should not start talking about Warhammer.
Has anyone else seen Stranger Things yet, or it's probably not in your countries yet?
Oh,
I've never
no.
even started watching it. I haven't even seen the first season yet, which is probably pretty bad.
I'm only just getting to the first season, actually.
I just shotgunned all of season 2 yesterday, so I'm it's all fresh in my mind.
Yeah, I have another friend that complains about, like, he's like a super pretentious about everything, and he's like, "Oh, the camera work turned me off." I'm like,
"Oh,
shut
what?
up."
That's such a stupid thing to focus on.
I know.
It's his name for Vermont.
That sounds like me, actually. I mean, I almost gave up on. You can ask Christian about this if he's still in the comments section. I almost stopped watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine when he first showed it to me because I hated the camera work so much.
I think the camera work in season 2 is really good anyway. I forget season 1.
It kind of... I'm glad I stuck on with the show. I do need to watch Stranger Things, though. I haven't started it. Much to the ire of my writing lecturer, because he went to college with the Duffer Brothers. So he loves to talk about that. So he really encourages all his students to watch Stranger Things.
Yeah, they're like twins. Like I saw the there's like the post show, because they have that for everything now. The Talking Dead or whatnot. So it's the Beyond Stranger Things post show, and the Duffer Brothers are like fucking twins. I mean, it's like Philip and Lillian, but they're the same gender. It's crazy how like they're clones of each other. So. I like the show. The first one I watched with I think most people watched it with no pretenses about it. Like, I don't remember a huge marketing campaign rolling into it. I just got like a text from my parents saying, "Hey, have you seen the Stranger Things on the Netflix?" And I'm like, "No, what's that?"
On the Netflix.
Yeah. And so, like, it's like a Friday night. I get home from work, and, it's around Halloween this time. So I'm like, all right, let's see what this is. And I got, I love the synth crap too, so the opening really hooked me, and then I watched the whole series over that weekend. And, that was great. And then this one, they definitely made it more cinematic. Netflix poured more money into it because it was very successful. And, I thought it actually had really good arcs with characters from the last season. Like, it felt like a good continuation. And then they try a few chances, like there's some location things they change up a little bit for variety, which I wasn't completely sold on, but it's like they are trying different things, and obviously this has made a fucking shitload of money, so they're gonna have at least a season 3 and 4 in my estimation.
I'll probably get onto Stranger Things one day, but it's so low on my list of things to watch at the moment.
Yeah, actually, next up on my list is rewatching Samurai Jack. So it's like that's how things are. Right
from
now.
The beginning.
No, just season 5.
Yeah, I think there's like kind of like maybe one or two. Like you just for the sake of it, go rewatch the all the episodes that episode 6 refers to.
Yeah, that's a good place to go. Or like I rewatched season 1 in the middle of our watching back in March, so that was that too.
Because I mean, I was rewatching the I rewatched the episode, and then of course I had to go rewatch the scene with the samurai, which was just
He's one of my favorite Samurai Jack villains.
Oh, you mean the samurai? That guy?
The samurai.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He was so fantastic. Just he was so beautifully over the top. What a fantastic voice actor as well. Because and what a fantastic character. That whole episode with just all the callbacks to the old villains and old characters that Jack had saved, and of course the best line of the entire of all 5 seasons. That guy's head looked like a talking penis.
I thought it was a very fitting send-off for a lot of characters.
Oh god, the return of the completely shoehorned in pointless return of Domongo.
Yes,
that was
great.
Made to be as shoehorned in as pointless as possible. Like they just embraced it.
Yeah.
I saw this absolutely fantastic video essay breaking down the new season of Samurai Jack, where he was kind of like, this dark thing happens, then this dark thing happens with mature themes and Jack contemplating suicide, and just in your head as you're thinking to yourself, God damn, is the whole season going to be so dark and depressing? He then cuts to, ooh, Samurai Jack, baby. Fucking Scaramouche.
Yeah, so fantastic.
Because I do think his arrival is perfectly timed. Like, you are now wondering if it's going to be just dark all the way, and just as that thought hits your mind, fucking Scaramouche arrives and becomes one of the funniest Jack villains that we've ever had.
I loved his vibration hex knife too. That thing was awesome. You just whack against stuff and it fucking blows up.
That was pretty darn cool.
He just scats and controls stuff.
Oh my god, right? The scat jazz to control things was just because you've got this really, really dark moment where Jack is fucking where he's seeing all these rocks manifesting themselves as fucking children screaming his name. And it's like children have just died, and then it cuts to
he's jumping from building to building.
Let's just throw Tone out the window. It was amazing.
Yeah, no,
that's one of the times where you can throw Tone out the window. It doesn't fucking matter. Just do it.
And I love the season 5 and opening and the introduction of Jack, and he's got his full-on body armor, and he's on the motorcycle, and he's got the crazy beard and everything. That was such a badass opening.
Yeah, it was.
And then, of course, the doggy aliens. They were adorable. The emoji.
Oh my god. They were fantastic. I honestly wish we could see more of them.
Me too.
And it was a nice way of kind of cheating as well, so that they could keep the opening dialogue free, but still have the characters communicate.
That was really clever. Yeah.
And also, I do think it's important to note. Yep. So, new Powerpuff Girls show, and actually any show you want to use emojis, take a look at that opening scene. If you want to make jokes about emojis, that is how you do it. Where where fucking that one little dog girl sees the oil blood thing, and she kind of makes that little
gross
emoji above her head, and it's that was legitimately funny and adorable.
That was great.
That's how you make that kind of humor.
Well, I mean, everyone knows that the new Powerpuff Girls show is essentially a self-insert fanfic by the creator, so he can date Blossom in the story. It's it's really creepy when you break down some of these episodes, and you see this is just a ship fic of the writer as an OC.
Yeah. Well, I should stress it's the new writer, because obviously Craig McCracken had nothing to do with this.
Oh yeah, no, this has nothing to do with the old Powerpuff Girls.
Which that's one of the things that kind of always bugs that's been bugging me is Gendy came back and he took the reign and he made Samurai Jack season 5, and that's the reason why it was so good, was because it was made by the team that made it originally, even if not.
Like, that's why it succeeded. It was people who understood it. Whereas, that's what they should have fucking done with the Powerpuff Girls, is they should have given it back to Craig McCracken and Lauren Faust. I mean, it's not like Lauren Faust is doing anything at the moment.
Yeah,
not
what
after
is she
Sony
doing right now?
cancelled
She had
Medusa.
that Medusa movie that never actually released? And...
No, Sony cancelled it.
Oh, really?
Sony
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, they cancelled it a while ago, and it's like one of the most infuriating things because when they had first announced the Emoji Movie, when they did the first trailer, one of my favorite things is the comments underneath was like, were people commenting, "Wow, just to think, Sony, thank you, Sony. We could have had Lauren Faust's Medusa, but instead you're giving us the Emoji Movie. Thanks so much."
That is infuriating. Ugh. That makes me want to punch a hole in the wall. Oh my gosh.
There are some
to have seen the Medusa's origin as told by Faust. That would have been so fantastic.
Oh yeah.
See, here's the thing, though, is that the Emoji Movie was just so dispopular that everyone went to go see it.
Oh, I did.
Like, well, like, you know what I mean? Like, it was so talked about how much it would suck.
Yeah.
That more people heard about it than if an actual good movie would have been released.
Yeah.
I mean,
that was a major problem. Was the fact that all the people who were going to go see the Emoji Movie, ironically, it was kind of don't go see the movie ironically in theaters. Don't give Sony your money. That way they win.
Yeah.
And it's also that must have been a really weird week for Sony because it's like they released the Emoji Movie and everyone hated them. The next a week or two later, they released Baby Driver, which critics fucking loved.
Yeah, that got weirdly popular. I didn't see that. Oh, sorry, Baby Driver. I was thinking of something else.
Yes.
Yeah, Baby Driver was great.
And then 2 weeks after that, Sony released the Dark Tower movie, which was. So I just like that. I just want to imagine the Sony pictures that like sort of. The guys in charge of that. It's like everyone hates us, everyone loves us, everyone hates us again.
I am not sure what the thought process with the Dark Tower movies was. Movie.
Right. Although someone did speaking of those three movies, though, someone did kind of point something out to me. Is that there are upsides to things like the Emoji Movie, because those kinds of bad movies that are cheap cash-ins, but Sony knew they were going to make money off of it, and they did. They made a fuckload of.
It basically advertised itself with how much everyone said it sucked.
Yeah.
Also someone pointed out the fact that essentially think of it this way. The Emoji Movie helped Sony pay for an original story like Baby Driver. You need the horrible Hollywood cash-in to pay for the risky original.
Yeah, true.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a depressing line of thought, and it's not the way things should be, and I don't think it rings entirely true. But I feel like there is an essence of reality in that.
I still don't forgive them.
Yeah, no. They need to be dragged in front of like the Human Rights Council because that is a crime. The Emoji Movie is a crime against humanity. I am sorry. Like, from what I've seen from the version I pirated, because yes, I did not pay for it.
No.
It is one large commercial for other bullshit like Candy Crush.
I'm somehow not surprised.
Like the entire movie is product placement.
Nice.
I wouldn't be surprised.
It's really depressing, actually.
I'm not gonna waste my money on that movie then.
Yeah, no, don't give them attention.
What exactly failed the Dark Tower? I figured it would have been good.
Idris Elba Idris Elba is a fucking amazing actor,
Oh yeah.
He just doesn't fit the gunslinger at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, The Dark Towers, was that really good series of books by, was it Stephen King?
Yeah.
Or, yeah.
Basically, his best writing.
Yeah, I've been meaning to read that.
It also
read it.
doesn't have the really, really awkward scene at the end of it. I am still scarred by that.
Alrighty then.
I think
okay,
we've talked about everything.
Yeah.
well, yeah, we've done a fairly decent enough recap, and
EastCorp year
we've
one.
broken. Welcome, thank you everyone for joining us for our first year. That's still pretty fucking. I'm still pretty fucking blown away.
I know.
No, you guys make original content. It's such cool content.
Yeah.
I'm very, very curious though to see what our audience would like from us. We're now moving into year 2. I think there are still a lot of things kind of up in the air at the moment. A lot of projects that haven't been nailed down yet, or we've got 2 major productions coming to an end next year as well, with Terminal Secrets and Confessions of a Wasteland Pony. No, 3 major productions, because Wasteland Survival Guide's ending next year as well.
Yeah, essentially, all my plans end in 2018. There may or may not be... Confessions may go a little bit over, but it's like, for the most part, 2018 ends all of my, things. So we'll see what happens.
So, we don't... I'm curious to see what happens next year. Obviously, I've set in motion my plans to keep me going after Terminal Secrets has come to an end. But I feel I would be depressed if I didn't have 1,000 different things to do at once.
My ultimate end game is to finish Confessions no matter what. So that's going to happen, and no matter how long that takes. But, yeah, it's like that, and then Terminal Secrets, Wasteland Survival Guide, I'd love to have, once it's done, get some kind of nice bound copy of it. That would be really neat. So,
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'd
also
get
wanna
that.
do I also want to do a binge mode compilation of just once Wasteland Survival Guide is done, just group them all into one long video.
Oh yes,
Oh,
yeah.
God.
What we'll do is once we decide on the order, the organization of the chapters, then we'll release something big of all of them read back to back.
Yeah, essentially.
Which that's going to be 3 or 4 hours long.
Yeah, I've been wanting to do. I want to do the same thing for Terminal Secrets once it's done. It's essentially just binge mode. For a bunch of our series.
Well, we have the playlist on the main page too. I very much keep the playlist updated so people can easily just watch the whole series at once. If you see on the page right now, our very first playlist is Bellfire Symphony. You can watch all the Gilded Age songs, and then they roll into Verismo and the other stuff. You can watch all of Confessions back to back, all of Terminal Secrets, or Wasteland Survival Guide in order. And then we got random crap at the bottom.
Sam Pierce asking for us to do an FOE story that pays homage to Snowpiercer. My major issue with doing that is to effectively play homage to Snowpiercer, you'd need to do it in a visual medium, because I would just feel hollow without the cinematography.
I agree.
The staging and cinematography of Snowpiercer is absolutely fantastic. It's kind of a very critical part of the film.
It's success, yeah.
So if you tell you what, Sam Pierce, if you give me an animation budget, I will gladly do it. I'm a fairly decent.
About $5 million. That'd be perfect.
Yeah.
Small loan,
Give me
$1 million.
I will gladly put something together.
Like,
It'll be very short.
Would you animate it yourself? Would you actually hire an animator?
Oh no, I'd hire an animator. I know one or two who would be very, very helpful. It would be done as a short. But no, it could be done.
You know what that makes me think of? That one animator that does the automatic like flying like bomber, like everyone's dead. I'm trying to remember what that film was called. But yeah, he did a couple of those that were really, really atmospheric. Dang it, what was that called? Last Day of the War, Dima Fedotov. He's done a couple of those that are really good.
All right. Holy fuck! It's 11 o'clock.
Yeah, I think it's time to go.
Yeah.
We've broken 3 hours on this podcast. Not bad. Not bad at all. Happy anniversary, everyone.
Yes.
I really do look forward to a second year.
I am too. No, we have a lot of stuff we're continuing and adding this year, and a few other one-offs that we have in our docket that hopefully will get out soon enough. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We have a lot of great things planned for the year.
Okay.
Okay, thank you guys, and we will talk to you later.